We live. What up, Under Big Dog Nation? CEO will be here in a minute here. So we just starting it up. Looks like we got some people joining the chat. Let me get my headset on. Just wait for them to get in here. Wait for it to roll out. How was everybody's weekend? Give the stream a few seconds to populate. We are live. Nice. Cool. What up, Anthony? What's going on, man? Thanks for joining the show. We got a good show today, so stick around. If you want to get involved in the topics, join the Discord. We're just waiting for a few people to get in the stream real quick. Get started with our sports news here in a sec. There's a lot of sports news today, so I'm gonna let the CEO take care of that. Let me get started on the sports news. Let me just pull it up.
Hey, Gator, we live?
I was trying to get the sports news up. I was gonna start the sports news, but I didn't have it up, so I was trying to pull it up. But you got it right.
Yeah. How's everybody doing today? Welcome in. We got a jam-packed show. We worked really hard on the topics today, and we got a jam-packed show today. Let me get here, turning this camera on. See what it's looking like.
We definitely do. I've never seen this many topics in my life.
We got a jam-packed show today.
I watched
Let me start it off.
I watched the bench today.
Yes, please. Thank you for watching the bench, Gator. I appreciate that. Allow
That Anthony's
me.
back again. He said hi again. I don't know if it's a real person or a bot, but if it's a real person, thank you for joining the show again. I hope you stick around, get involved in the Discord.
Definitely get involved in the Discord. Definitely come on to the show, Anthony. You feel me? Like, pull up on the show. Got hair coming out. Just finished washing my hair. So if you see some drippage going on, like, just don't mind the drippage, all right? Don't mind the drippage dropping off of my hair right now.
That's what we do to get the show on time, Anything and everything it takes.
Dang, where are we, man? I'm trying to pull up our whatchamacall. I'm trying to pull up our live.
The Google Docs.
I think I'm there. All right. So, what's good, chat? What's good, world? All right. Again, don't mind the drippage. Just finished washing my hair. Real quick, let's get into these sports news real quick. DeMar Hamlin made season debut versus Miami. That's pretty cool. Tre'Davious White out for season with Achilles injury. That's a big blow to the Bills.
That might need a topic eventually, but yeah,
I don't know.
That's bad.
I don't know, but that's definitely a huge blow to the Bills defense, man. Huge blow, shut down corner. Huge blow to the Bills defense. Man. But got some, some lighter news. Bills Von Miller resuming practice opening window for return. So, You got one stud leaving, one stud coming back. But I would have loved to see this team fully healthy, man.
Yeah,
This
no.
Bills team can't catch a break. I tried to tell people the Bills defense is fully healthy again, and they really like that. They, held a team that just put up 70 to 20 points. And so, I was trying to tell people about this defense, but that Tre'Davious White situation is hurting. Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Teller, who were both out the first 4 weeks, Cooper Kupp to IR because of a hamstring, Jonathan Teller because of ankle. They return this week. Coach's been looking really good, especially with Anthony Richardson, who we will talk about later on in the show. But with Jonathan Teller coming back, maybe that boosts the offense up a little more, but more than likely he's probably going to get traded. Cooper Kupp definitely should boost the already good looking offense of the Rams coming back. Salt on the wound to a horrible loss suffered by the Patriots. Their top draft pick Gonzalez and their standout linebacker Judon were injured in that matchup. We'll continue to see what the severity of these
Christian
injuries
Gonzalez
are.
is real. They know how to
And
pick defense. They know how to
no, of
draft.
course, that's what Bill Belichick does. Excuse
Yeah.
the drippage. Excuse the drippage. Just finished washing the hair. Excuse the drippage. Um, but no, yeah, I mean, yes, you're right. You're right. Christian Gonzalez is a really good player that they drafted. Bill certainly knows how to draft defensive players. We already know that. T. Higgins broken ribs, plans to play through it. Jamal Adams returned, cut short last night because he got into a concussion. So we are really excited about Jamal Adams' return to this Seahawks defense, that looks really, really good. And so hopefully Jamal Adams gets back going. NBA news: Lonzo Ball says he'll definitely play again despite injury plague. Hopefully, we pray for that to happen. Welcome in DL. Welcome in DL. Welcome to the show. Ricky Rubio still away from Cavs, still focusing on mental health. Spurs guard Devin Vassell agreed to 5-year, $146 million extension. Zion Williamson, 100% going into the season. Draymond Green to miss 4 to 6 weeks due to ankle injury. Cade Cunningham, 100% healthy going into the season. James Harden has yet to report for media day. Boom, sports news, right? Thank you, everybody that's tuned in right now. Make sure you're commenting in the YouTube channel. And Gator, you got the YouTube channel pulled up?
Yeah, I got the chat and stuff.
Since,
Yeah.
okay, since I'm the lead host today, can you please
Yeah, I got
keep
you.
up with those comments, respond to them, and then cut me off, or cut whoever's talking off to bring up those people's what they're saying and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Most impressive. So let's get right into the show. First, let's welcome DL to the show. Thank you, DL, for pulling up. We appreciate it. We got some more basketball analysts, football analysts coming on the show later. And these, if you're tuning in right now, join. The instructions on how to join is in our IG story. Get on here, get on the live show with us. After all, this show was created for you. Let's start it off. Most impressive NFL team through 4 weeks. Go ahead, Gator. What you saying?
Yeah, real quick. It's also in the description of the video. So if you don't know how to join, it's in the description right underneath the YouTube video. So
Oh, it's in the description underneath the YouTube video.
as
Okay,
well,
good.
yeah. So
Good. Um, Most impressive NFL team through 4 weeks. Most impressive NFL team through 4 weeks. Guests are always first. Welcome to the show, DL. Who is your most impressive NFL team through 4 weeks?
What's going on, guys?
What's good?
what up?
Man, glad to be on. It's been a while.
Amen.
Most impressive team through 4 weeks. I gotta go with the 49ers. And they've been the most consistent. I mean, we've seen Miami hang a 70 piece, but it was on the Broncos. The Bills struggled in that first game. The Cowboys fell to Arizona. So I gotta go with the 49ers. They've been the most consistent. I feel like they have the most weapons of any offense in the league. So yeah, I'll go with the 49ers.
Consistency reigns true with the 49ers for sure. Gator?
I have a feeling we're all three gonna say the same here. The only other team besides the 49ers I think we could say is on their levels. The other undefeated team is the Eagles, but the way they've been winning isn't like wowing me. But I'm gonna stick to, and it's always gonna seem biased throughout the whole year, but it is true when we got multiple people saying that the Niners are the most impressive team so far. Not just the way they're playing, but two road games to start the season is rough, especially in the NFL. They breeze through those two games, not even a scare, and then they come at home and blow out the two teams that they're supposed to beat. So I wouldn't say they're like mind blowing victories, but when you got a 7th-round quarterback going 21 of 22, and his only incompletion was a throwaway, that's impressive. That's impressive. Even in Kyle Shanahan's offense, that's still very, very, very hard to do. So their defense is stout. Running game is stout. Christian McCaffrey, you could throw up there as in the MVP candidacy as of right now. Like, they really have it all. So that's why. That's
who did they beat?
Most impressive.
Who did they beat? Who did they? I mean, we got
yeah, they didn't. They didn't, but that's not the question.
Rams,
that's not the question.
We got the Rams. I mean, I'm just saying this is
listen.
Listen, time out. I'm just saying the Rams. Yeah. The Rams look good. Yes, I'm just saying, but Rams hung in there with them. They had the lead at points in that game, and the final score ended up being 30-23. So that was a tight game with the Rams, and the other two, Giants scrubs and Arizona scrubs, as we know. So I'm just not too impressed with their schedule. I'm going to go out there and say the Bills have been the most impressive team this season. First game on the road, all of the Aaron Rodgers hype, so much going around that game. The Jets defensive players on 20 because it's the first game. So they had a slippage. I mean, 22 to finish. Final score was 22-16. Josh Allen got stifled against a really good Jets defense. Like in the first game,
I agree.
Where they were turned up, they were hyped. Josh Allen's the first game of the season. Since then, they're on an average win of 28 points per 28 points per game discrepancy since then against the Vegas Raiders, against Washington Commanders, and against Miami, who just put up 70 points last week. They beat them 48-20. I got to go with the Buffalo Bills as the most impressive team. Now, this Tre'Davious White Achilles tear is huge, but with Von Miller coming back, I think they still are okay moving forward.
If they would have beat the Jets, I'd be on board with that. They had a slippage. The Niners haven't yet.
But the Lions ain't playing about any last comments on most impressive? Most surprising NFL team through 4 weeks. Guests are always first. Most surprising team, DL.
They only have one win, but I'm gonna say the Cardinals because I don't feel like they've been the easy win that everybody thinks they are.
There you go. There.
I was going to say the same thing.
Go there.
I swear to God, I would say the same thing.
They aren't the easy win that everybody has said. I'm not saying like I'm impressed, like, oh, they're killing the game, but they're supposed to be like the easy win each week. They're supposed to be everybody's tune-up game, and that has not been the case.
That's the Caleb Williams team. That's what people are saying. Like, that's how bad that team is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're supposed to be the team looking like they're locking up the number 1 pick, not Chicago. So,
man, Gator.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was gonna say 2 teams though. I think it's a tie between the Cardinals and the Texans, especially because the Texans started 0-2, so it looked like everything that we expected about them was true. But then they just had 2 big wins, like beating the Steelers, and last week, who'd they beat last week? A pretty deep, like not an atrocious team. Who'd they beat last week? Who did they beat last week?
The Texans. They beat It was actually a pretty decent
was it the
team.
Colts?
Was it the
No,
Colts?
it wasn't the Colts. I don't think it was the Colts. Let me look right now.
Oh, the
Jaguars, and they blew them out.
They beat the Jags and the Steelers. Like you do not want to play them. Like that's supposed to be a W. Listen, this might be a hot take right now. This is gonna be a hot take. This might have to be clippable, but I'm gonna say the Texans win that division.
The Texans win that division? What are we talking about with Tennessee in there?
Tennessee,
Oh
Jacksonville,
no.
Tennessee, Jacksonville,
Oh
and
no, that
Indy.
is a hot take. That's definitely a hot take. I think you're gonna prove to be wrong on that one, buddy. We got. Hey, listen, the viewers that's watching, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you're in the chat, telling us what you think about the current topic that we're on right now. Also instructions on how to be on the show with us live. We got a special guest. DL just came into the show today. We need more special guests. We need more football and basketball analysts on the show. So I know you're enjoying watching. That's amazing. If you're up for it, if you know what you're talking about, football, basketball, please join the show. Right now, we have. Oh, excuse me. Let me quickly give my take. I guess I got most surprising team. It's a two-parter, and I'm just say them quick because it is a two-part. I got the Buccaneers as one of the most surprising teams out there in the Los Angeles Rams. Now, these two teams, the Rams, I just didn't know with the Rams what they were going to look like. I thought a lot of what we were going to see from the Rams was going to be what we saw last year. And to see them actually coming out, especially going to the nail, tooth and nail with the 49ers, the team that most people deem the most impressive team this season, going tooth and nail with them, being a formidable, more than formidable offense. That offense looks amazing right now in the Sean McVay. And so I'm really impressed with how I see the Rams are finally getting over that Super Bowl hangover, and they're looking like the Rams again. And then we got the Buccaneers, who Todd Bowles still got that defense playing at an extremely high level. I'm super surprised with the consistency play from Baker Mayfield in this offensive attack. So those two teams are my surprising teams. Any closing remarks? And just we got a couple more minutes on this topic. So is there anything that anybody want to add?
Um, I would say the only thing the only thing I don't like about your Rams pick is, well, it's not that I don't like it because I mean it's surprising. I thought they were going to be like 1-3 at this point. The Cincinnati loss concerned me though. The offense looked bad, and the Texans just whooped the Titans just whooped them. So and the Niners basically covered that game. You saw what Sean McVay did, so I'm not gonna say they went tooth and nails. In the first half, they did. For one half of play, they went tooth and nails with the Niners. It was
They
17.
went to the nail, and they didn't play
It was
they didn't
7.
play,
It was
they
17,
didn't play
17 at
Tennessee.
halftime.
They didn't play Tennessee. The
No,
two
no, no,
losses
no,
that
no, 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 no. I'm saying it's the way Tennessee handled Cincinnati. You would have thought the Rams should have scored more points on them.
Listen, we all saw that game. You got the pass rush was getting to Stafford like crazy, and they showed up the offensive line throughout practice the following weekend, handled Indiana defensive rush. And then they lost to Cincinnati by 3.
I'm gonna flip this actually. This is a good question. We didn't go the other route. A surprising team to me. Well, it wasn't really surprising to me. It was probably surprising to a lot of people. Is the Giants. What I mean by that is surprising as we had high expectations for them, so it's surprising about like how bad they're playing to start the season. So
I give you that.
Everyone kept saying a surprise good team. You could also flip the switch and say it's a surprise team that may be underperforming.
Of course you can. Of course you can go that route. And so the Giants, I mean, you didn't expect much from them, but
yeah,
I guess
a lot of people did. That's what I'm saying.
We did. Moving on, changing over to the association, NBA Media Day. LeBron says AD is face of franchise. What is LeBron's prerogative? Explain what LeBron's intentions are coming out and saying this to the media. DL?
I think it's twofold. I think one is him, I think in a way trying to, I don't know, instill some confidence in AD. I think LeBron's at this stage in his career where he'd much rather play fewer minutes and give them like 15, 5, and 5 a night and be LeBron when he has to instead of doing it every night.
15, 5, and 5. I thought that was crazy.
Because I feel like that's slight work for him. Like, if he can do his 15, 5, and 5 and go sit, like why would he continue to give them 25?
Yeah, I understand what he's saying.
Like
I understand
destroying his body. Like he can save himself for the playoffs pretty
Yeah.
much. I think that's part of it. I think the other part is by telling the media, it kind of puts that pressure on AD because I feel like there was a whole point of AD coming there was to kind of be like 1A so LeBron could be 1B. I feel like that was the whole point in going to the Lakers was him kind of being the elder statesman and not having to play at an MVP level every night. I don't think LeBron has anything left to prove, so he's like, I'm really like I want to win this ring, and I don't have to be the go-to guy to do it. So I think he's just putting that pressure on AD in a way, and then also trying to give him some confidence in a way too, because AD has struggled the last couple seasons. Whether it was staying on the floor or like his outside shot has been terrible lately.
It has.
So I think it was more of a challenge than anything else.
I definitely agree with what you're saying as far as us, dropping in stats because what last year he averaged something like 29 points a game, 8 rebounds and 7 assists, something stupid like that. So I definitely
Which is
understand what you mean as
insane at
far as
his age.
I definitely understand what you mean as far as the numbers coming down. I just thought 15, 5, and 5. Like I don't think he's gonna go that low. I don't think he's gonna, you know, settle for
I
that.
don't think he's gonna go that low, but I think if he could, like, he'd be fine with that. Like, if that's all they needed from him, I think he's gonna have to do
I
more
think
than
what
that.
he's
But
saying, King, is like for the Lakers to be successful, it can't be all LeBron anymore. So like there has to be games where he does where like if he's averaging 15, 5, and 5 and like right around that stat line, the Lakers still better be winning. Or else they're not a
No, I
championship caliber team.
no, I 100% agree with. As I said, I agree. It's just I just knowing LeBron, like just being a LeBron sort of you know fan his whole career. I just don't see him going that low in number. Like just I don't see him opting to do that. I don't see him choosing to do that. I don't see him um surrendering to do that. Like I see him still though, if it's like 23 points a game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, something like that. Like I see something like that. It's still LeBron at the end of the day. He's still gonna play. Like, for example, he's training in off season, quote unquote, like he's a rookie. So, it's he's still, gonna come out playing like LeBron. But yes, less minutes, less overexertion and on the court, overexerting himself on the court. And so I definitely see from that angle. And I totally disagree with the don't have nothing else to prove. Like I feel as though LeBron is still chasing ghosts, in my opinion. I know he said that like 6 years ago or however long ago it's been now, but I think he's still chasing, those MJ ghosts. And so shoot, you gonna hear me speak loudly if he happens to win another champion. Like if he just does, you're gonna have all the fans come out, talking about he got five. He's been to 11. So I definitely think he's still out there to prove that he is the greatest, not to prove anything less than that though. So I'm being dramatic. So I agree with you to that extent. He's still out to prove that he is the best to ever do it. I think his intentions were to everything. I second your sentiments. Like just get AD to realize like, oh shoot, like the ball is in my court. The pressure's on me. I'm the number one guy. I'm the number one option on a night in and night out basis. Um, and so look to AD to try to make an MVP push um this season because this reminds me of when Dwayne Wade, said to the public, said to the media when LeBron was in Miami after they lost their finals against Dallas the year going into that second year together. Dwayne Wade said, LeBron is the number one option. He's the number one guy. I'm B. Like I'm not. I'm like he's A. He's one. I'm two. Like I'm not. It's not 1A 1B. It's he's one. I'm two. Like he needs to be the face, the guy, the reason for. Like he has to be it. And when he surrendered that, it made that team a lot better. And so I see him returning that understanding, that wisdom. onto a projecting that wisdom onto AD, and so and LeBron went on to win a MVP that season when Dwayne Wade did that, and so I think let's look out for AD possibly going to get a MVP. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anything?
no, I have something. I just don't understand, to be honest, why he said that. I think to me it might be something as simple as just him trying to show some humility, and give Anthony Davis the respect that he deserves on that team. I don't think there's any like hidden message behind it. To be honest, I think we might be overthinking it. I think he's just trying to be a good teammate. He's just saying the right things to media, in my opinion. I don't think there's any like hidden message behind it. I think he's just trying to be a good
Well,
teammate. I'm sorry.
LeBron, yeah, I'm sorry. LeBron is always, doing something.
Let's not talk about LeBron like he's some word wisdom. Like not like
He
yeah.
always though. He always
I
purposely doing that. Always. I'm just saying. He always when he says something to the media like that is alarming, it's always with the purpose for a reason.
No, I think it might just be
Um,
the media blowing that up, though. I don't really think that's alarming. All he said was Andy's the face of the Lakers franchise. I think we're just overthinking it a bit, but
I don't know.
it's
I
humility.
mean,
Yes, it's surprising. Everybody knows it's not true. Everyone knows it's not true. He's saying it, I think, just to
this
be a
is
little
why it's
humble.
news, Gator. This is why it's news, Gator.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he's just trying to say it just to be a little humble. Superstars do that all the time. Superstars do that all. They never take full credit for they at least most of the superstars. There are egotistical superstars for
First
sure.
time he's done in his career. What did you say, DL?
No, I was just gonna say, I get where you're coming from. It could be something that he just said, but I gotta agree with King. I feel like LeBron always has. There's always like a method to the madness. It might not work out the way he wants it to, but I feel like he does stuff, especially with the media, on purpose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, we have NBA Media Day. James Harden absent from Media Day. DL, what's the best fit for James Harden?
But be honest, I have no idea.
Where would you
So
like
we've
to see
seen
him
this
go?
before. Like
That's true.
honestly, honestly, I just want to see him stay in Philly. I can't think of another team where it's like, oh, if they add Harden, they'll get there. I don't like he's making this push for the Clippers, but I'm not convinced that a big three of James Harden, Paul George, and
That would
Kawhi
not
Leonard would
work.
work.
Yeah, that would not work.
You got to factor in injuries. You got to factor in the way Kawhi likes to rest, um, egos. James Harden has done this same thing like everywhere he goes now, where it's like everything's the honeymoon phase at first. He loves the team, and then all of a sudden it's just no, I'm not happy. I'm not getting what I want. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to try and work through that. It's just like, no, I'm gonna force a trade. I'm gonna just leave in free agency.
Yeah,
So I
definitely,
don't, I
definitely.
don't. There's not. I just don't know if there's a team where I see like, oh, if they could add James Harden, they'd win a championship.
I definitely agree with you there. I mean, me and Gator, we're always talking about these players, um, sort of like pushing their way out of franchises and stuff like that. And for the most part, I always disagree with Gator because I feel like players should have, you know, that power. But I think James Harden, I think he took it to a whole nother level. Like he, like you said, DL,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
definitely abusing it.
he's definitely abusing the players, power in the NBA for sure. And so that is a little bit unfortunate. Um, Gator.
I think I'm gonna say what DL wanted to say, but he just couldn't
Hmm.
do it. I don't
Okay.
think I don't think James Harden is a good fit on any NBA franchise right now. Any zero. With the amount of drama that he causes and not knowing what if he even wants to play for you or not, I think he's not a good fit for any team looking to win a championship. It could only to me it could only end in a distraction. If a team is focused on winning a championship right now, I think they should stay as far away from James Harden as possible. Now, if we're talking about best fit wise, like for him as a basketball player, I would say the Lakers, just because of all the depth they have, and he can come off the bench. He
Wow.
The only thing that's gonna work is if he comes off the bench at this point in his career.
Wow. I mean, I understand where y'all coming from. I don't think he's a scrub.
No, no one's saying that. No one's saying that.
I think he's a hooper
No,
still.
not at all. I don't think he's a.
Yeah, no
He's
one
a.
says he's
I
a
don't.
scrub.
Yeah, I think he's a hooper. I just don't know if it translates to team basketball anymore.
Championship basketball.
You know who I'm talking? You know who I think?
Who?
I believe in and let me know in the YouTube chat if anybody's in there. Whoever's the ones that are viewing, let us know what's a good fit for James Harden. But who I think, if he's able to buy all the way in and fit in, I would try to push. I would try to push to go to the Denver Nuggets if I was him. I think he would fit in perfectly with this already, complete team. Michael Porter Jr., I'm tired of him, not showing up when it matters. Helping on the scoring. They just lost Brown. What's his name? I think his name is
Bruce Brown.
Is
Bruce
it Bruce
Brown.
Brown?
Bruce Brown
Yeah,
from the
Bruce
Nets.
Brown. They just lost Bruce Brown. Michael Porter Jr. sort of disappears in the clutch. I would love to see James Harden fit into this Denver system. I think he fits perfectly into this Denver system. And I would suggest Gator that on this team he comes off the bench, but maybe not. But maybe so. But I just feel as though he really fits on this Denver team, and so I think I would love to see him on that Denver roster
No, I don't like that.
sort of as like a retooling pickup, because you don't want to get too comfortable with what you have when you have all of these other teams that bolstered their roster, like with Chris Porter, the Golden State Warriors, with all of the additives that the Lakers made, the additives that the Phoenix Suns made. You don't want to just be sitting there thinking that you got a grip still on the West. Like you want to make one of those moves that makes people be like, geez, they just added him.
No, I don't like
and
that, King.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that because I don't want to take the ball out of Jokic's hands at all. At all.
Well, you won't have to do that. You won't have to do that.
You will with James Harden because he does a lot of the stuff. He does a lot of the passing. He does a lot of the passing like Jokic would. I want Jokic the one getting 10 assists, not James Harden.
Yeah, that's why I said fit in. That's why I said find a way to fit in.
I don't know if he'll fit in on that team. Like, for a playmaking standpoint, like what James Harden does to make his teammates better, he'd be a good fit almost anywhere. In terms of, because I only said no team right now because of because of what he does. Obviously, his attitude towards certain situations, not him skill level wise. He would help teams because he has to become more of a facilitator completely. He has to stop taking as many shots as like he would in the past, I believe. I think he's the best when he's facilitating the basketball now in his career. At this point, I don't think he's like this dynamic scorer like he was in Houston. So I would say he's best right now when he's facilitating the basketball, and I wouldn't like him on a Denver team when they already have that type of player. I want Jokic to touch the ball as many times as possible in a basketball game because that's the type of player he is. I don't want to take the ball out of his hands even 10 like 10% of the time.
What you think about that destination choice, DL to Denver?
I mean, I definitely feel like he could fill that Bruce Brown void. I tend to agree with Gator. I don't know if he and Jokic work on the court at the same time.
Yeah.
But when Jokic takes a break, I think that's a great plug-in piece to run the offense when Jokic is out.
I'd be cool with that.
I could see that. I could see that fit. I don't know their roster that well. If we're talking just, I guess, skill set. I mean, you got Wemby in San Antonio now. I don't think Harden is the type of vet that's going to, necessarily bring a rookie along. But I could see a Wemby Harden pick and roll being pretty
I can
dangerous.
see that. Yeah, I can see that's a great James Harden to the San Antonio Spurs. That's also another great fit. Might gotta clip that. That might be something.
No, that's a good fit if, like, in the beginning of his like, not in the beginning, but like in the
Well,
prime of his
yeah,
career. Do you think he wants to win a chip now, though? Probably.
yeah, of course
That's
he
the
does.
yeah.
Um, Drew Holiday proclaims Celtics as perfect fit. Do we agree with that? DL, spark us off, bud.
On paper, yes.
Mm,
Practice, I'm not sure.
mm.
But I feel like his skill set is exactly what they've been missing. Like if they could have
Also,
combined Malcolm Brogdon and oh man, Marcus Smart into one player, I feel like you get Drew Holiday. And that's what they needed. Like they needed that at one time, that one guy on the court. But I also don't know if Tatum and Brown can really relinquish that control with the way that they play. So I'm interested to see how it translates. They definitely need him on that defensive end after they lost Marcus Smart, but I'm still skeptical of what they get done on the offensive end
still skeptical?
because it takes the it take
Mm.
if he takes the ball out of Jalen Brown's hands because I feel like a lot of the issue is once they get stagnant and then Jalen Brown's just out there one on one trying to create. That's where a lot of their issues stem from. So if he's running the offense, I'm just not convinced that Tatum and Brown can relinquish that kind of control. But I'm not mad at the trade. I mean, I feel like it did make them better, but I'm not convinced that they're just like this dangerous team you gotta worry about now.
Wow. I wanna before I let you go, Gator, I wanna push back a little bit, DL, because Marcus Smart a lot of the times, if we remember in the clutch, for the past like what 3, 4 postseasons now, been the sole decision maker in a lot of crucial spots in basketball games. A lot. Like, and was failing to do it, failing to ultimately come through. Like whether it was a turnover or because of a bad shot attempt, trying to make a play happen. They really trusted James Harden a lot to make plays in that offense in crucial spots in the playoffs and in the regular season as well. So and James Harden and Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown don't come off to me, correct me if I'm wrong, as the type of guys who has to have the ball in their hands at all times. These guys are spot up shooters as well. These guys play really good off the ball as well. Whether it's Jason Tatum for a corner three or a wing three, Jalen Brown cutting to the rim. Like these guys, I love what these guys do off the ball offensively. I think that's underestimated. Jason Tatum came into the league playing off the ball in his rookie year, thrived at doing it. And he does that pretty often as well. Comes off screens, they set up plays for him off the ball. So I don't, they're still going to get their shots. I don't see how adding Drew Holiday and making him be sort of a helping with facilitating. I don't see how that's not a plus. Like for this team, like that's definitely a upgrade from a facilitating standpoint. Like they need a facilitator on that team. Marcus Smart couldn't do it. Obviously, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown can't do it. So it just like I said, I love to see this team. Everybody's been talking about it. We all would love to see this team with a facilitator, and they finally got an elite one. And I always say with that addition, I was already on the Celtics being a true contender when they added Porzingis, because I felt like, as I always say, I felt like the Celtics were lacking star power, not lacking depth. They always had the depth, right? They had Robert Williams, Al Horford, they had Marcus Smart, they had the other young man that you just named, forget his name. They had who was
Brogdon.
Brogdon. They had Devin White. Um, they didn't lack depth. It was always in the clutch in crucial games, big games. Jason Tatum would be a little too quiet. Jaylen Brown would be a little too quiet. I've always felt like that they were lacking star power. And so when you add Kristaps Porzingis as a third option, mind you, just came off playing 65 plus games for the Washington Wizards while averaging 24, like 9-4, like as the number one option. You put him in there as the third option. Like if he finally had a healthy season, he came into the league. Kristaps did with the Knicks playing 65 games, 70 games, good, and then he had the injury plague, and then finally got over the injury plague bug, and now he's playing. Put him as the third option, no longer the number one option, less on his body, but he's still there as a third option as far as star power goes. Now you have more to actually worry about deep into the playoffs than just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You don't only have to prep for those two guys. Now you got a third option in Porzingis who's going to step up and do big things, and then you got an actual facilitator to facilitate it all. I think this is I think he's absolutely right. Perfect fit, in my opinion. And now the Milwaukee Bucks, we might be on a crash course for Boston Milwaukee Bucks, and now you got Drew Holiday going up against his old team. Look, and you know he's going to be looking out to prove something against those guys. Dame's going to have to really going to have to show up. You know he's going to be guarding Dame, and if you remember when Drew Holiday guarded Dame, and when Drew Holiday was on the New Orleans Pelicans and Dame was on Portland, and the Pelicans beat Portland 4-1 in the series, Drew Holiday was guarding Dame, and Dame struggled in that series. Albeit that was like 8 years ago. Dame might be better now, but Dame was still Dame. It was still Dame time back then and at that time. So I'm just saying, collision course. We're headed for a collision course. To that, you say what, DL?
So all the reasons you gave for Drew Holiday being a perfect fit is why I say I agree with it on paper. I'm not
Right.
saying they can't play off the ball. I'm just saying I don't know that they'll do it as often as they need to. I
As they
guess
need.
is what I'm
Okay.
getting at. Yeah.
Okay. Gator, before we move on, you got something?
Yeah, I think a big part of that is gonna big part of I wouldn't say he's a perfect fit, but if he I like him. I like the rotation he had on the Bucks. So he would come in. He would go off about 6 minutes to go in the first, and come in and play with the backups. So that's what I like. If he's gonna like, if they can fit him in the rotation a little like that, similar to like that. So like play with the starters in the first half of the first quarter, then come back out with the bench players. I like that. That's what I want to see on that team. I think him playing big minutes with the starters in certain situations could cause not trouble, but could cause some conflict over, because Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum want the ball all the time as it is. So I think that's where it could cause. It might not be a perfect match in terms of that aspect, but if they can fit him into a rotation that works for the team,
Yeah.
I could definitely see that working. I could definitely see that working. If he's facilitating the offense, not coming off the bench, because that's usually what like he comes in with the starters, plays a couple minutes, goes off, comes in with the bench players, takes a quick rest in the second quarter, and then finishes out the second half with them. So as long as they can find a good rotation for him, I think it could be a huge benefit to the team. I
All
don't
right.
really necessarily like him being on the court with them for too long for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown for too long. But
All right.
do you see that being an issue at all?
I don't see it being an issue.
No.
I think it's a perfect fit. And thank you for everybody that is watching right now. Dennis McCarron said Drew Holiday is the perfect fit. He's great fit with Porzingis. Anthony, thank you for tuning in. He said they finally get to play out, which is true. Again, if you want to be on the show live with us to give your takes on these instead of And again, being in the comments is perfect. So just saying, if you want to be on the show, that's what it was for. Thank you for everybody that is tuning in right now and commenting on the YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Let's get into week 4 takeaways. Week 4 takeaways right now. Week 4 takeaways.
Yeah,
Which
Anthony,
NFL?
you should come on to the stream once, or just come on for the football topics, yo. One day.
Anthony. Yeah, Anthony. So yes, we are on football topics right now, Anthony. So I know this is up your expertise. So definitely feel free to join the show. The instructions on how to do that is below on our YouTube channel, and it's also on our IG story.
That's what's beautiful about the show. If you see your topic, join in.
Which NFL coaches or GM should be on a hot seat right now, DL?
Oh, never mind.
That's tough. For a while there, I would say the Chargers coach. They may be turning around.
Yeah, they flipped it, luckily.
Yeah, I feel like Cincinnati right now can blame it on Joe Burrow's injury.
Yeah, he can't move.
Man. GM?
Or just coach.
It's
Either
early.
or. Head coach or GM. Offensive coordinator, head coach, GM, whatever you want to do. However you want to go.
Man, it's early. I'm going to go hot take. It's early, but I feel like the Panthers GM should be on the hot seat.
Oh, you're a Panthers
fan. I'm
a
Panthers fan, so
yeah,
that's
right. That hurt. That hurt the
I'm
soul.
seeing.
So help us. Give us insight on as to why. Because they got a rookie quarterback. They got a new head coach. New things are being implemented into this situation.
Saying he knows.
So why do you feel that way? Give us some insight about this team, since you're the Panthers guy.
Because they missed on Bryce Young, huh?
Okay, so rookie quarterback, new coaching staff. But I have to go back to the Matt Rule days, because it's the same GM, right? And I go back to the draft where they took 8 defensive players in a row. Even though they still had the same shaky offensive line back then. Even though they needed a quarterback back then. And then which J.C. Horn is a great cornerback, but he's played maybe 6 NFL games in 3 seasons. That defense that they put together that's just supposed to be a killer is already down Shaq Thompson and a couple other guys. J.C. Horn. But the biggest thing, and I think Gator just mentioned it, I'm not saying they missed on Bryce Young. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good quarterback, but he's not the Panthers quarterback. Like, you have one of the shakiest offensive lines in the league, and you go get the smallest quarterback in the draft. Like, that just didn't make sense.
I need to ask him a question. Based on what you've seen the first 3 weeks, based on what you've seen the first 4 weeks, are you on board with saying that they should have either taken C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson over Bryce Young? Is he the worst of the 3 that was drafted?
And see, that's the thing. I don't want to say he's the worst of the 3. He's had the worst. It's too early. He's definitely, on paper, he looks like the worst of the 3 right now, but it's situational. I know Anthony Richardson could have done some things with his legs, but the way Anthony Richardson is playing, he's also headed the Cam Newton route. Like, he's not protecting himself at all. He's already had to sit out for a concussion. So to me, C.J. Stroud is looking like the clear winner, but I also don't know. After you give up DJ Moore, I don't know that C.J. Stroud would operate the same way in this offense either if all he had to throw to was Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. Give me some light on that. Why? Why would they trade their best wide receiver? Did he want out?
I don't get it. I don't think he wanted out. If you look at DJ Moore's numbers, given that he had a declining Cam Newton, he had Baker Mayfield, and he had what's his face from the Jets. He's in San Francisco now. But anyways, he's had pieced together quarterbacks. Sam Darnold. Like, if you look at DJ Moore's numbers with those guys, like, he was having 1,000-yard seasons.
No, I actually love DJ Moore. I don't.
With piece
I don't
together
understand.
quarterbacks. I don't think he wanted out, and I thought he was a cornerstone. I really just feel like they should have made the moves for quarterback well before they traded Christian McCaffrey or DJ Moore. And then the more frustrating thing is, at one point in the season last year, they were projected to have the number one overall pick, and then they rattled off 6 wins
Yeah.
to close out the season. And
Yeah.
and then you trade all that capital. And even if you look this year, right now, the draft order, like they haven't won a game, and that number two pick belongs to Chicago. If the draft were tomorrow, Chicago would have the number one and number two pick. So it's not even like you're being rewarded for losing.
The Bears have the Panthers first round draft pick next year?
The Bears had the Panthers first round draft pick next year.
Oh
Right
my.
now, if the draft were tomorrow, the Bears would select 1 and 2. So there's no reward for you being terrible this year. And that's why I say GM. Because
Well, the
then
Bears are getting
you
Caleb
you
Williams.
you get Bryce Young and you go out and get him DJ Chark, Adam Thielen, and Hayden Hurst. You say, yeah, we're gonna surround this young quarterback with these guys, and they'll get him there. Like, they aren't even reliable safety valves, and it's just, I mean, it's age, it's injuries.
I didn't even know
So
that.
that's why I say I don't know how much
Justin
of it
Fields is
is.
getting
I
traded.
don't know how
Justin
much I
Fields
can
getting
put on.
traded.
I'm not going to even lie to you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to even lie to you. This is a total overreaction on Bryce Young. Everything you said with the GM, fine. Like, because
and that's
you
what I'm saying. They put
you went
Bryce
back.
Young in a bad situation. I can't knock Bryce Young because I don't like he has a
Yeah, but
shaky
they
line
can't
and
not
terrible
draft talent, you
receiving
know?
You
core.
They
went.
can't not
You
draft
went.
talent
That's what
though.
I'm saying. You went before this NFL draft and really, shed light on some things that the GM, could have did better. So I don't disagree with that he should be on a hot that he shouldn't be on a hot that he should be on the hot seat. He should, and his job should be in question. But just the anything you said surrounding the name Bryce Young, I felt was just a tad bit of an overreaction because I really believe in the kid. And when you got Adam Thielen out there, and you got uh I don't even know this kid's name that they drafted from
Jonathan Mingo,
Jonathan Mingo that they drafted from whatever that school is, Miss Ole Miss.
Ole
Then
Miss.
you got
Yep.
then you got DJ Chark, who's like okay, and so it's just like when you got that going on, when you got Miles Sanders with a groin injury in the backfield, and then the backup is Chubb Hurt, like, and your tight end is Hayden Hurst, like come on, like
But
I'm sorry,
that's
I'm
my
sorry.
point. Like, I'm not saying it's Bryce Young's fault. That's what I'm saying. Why would you
They're very,
put him in
very
that
average,
situation?
those
Like,
players that we just listed.
that's what I'm saying. I think Anthony Richardson could do more with those players just because he can do more with his legs. Now, in the long run, Bryce Young might have the best career out of the three of them, but
It's possible.
it's just going to take a whole lot of changes.
I
It's
think you're
gonna
being
take
a
a
little. I think you're
whole
being a
lot.
little too hard on your own GM because rebuilds take some time. I know it hurts as a fan. It hurts the heart, but they do take time. Like, it could be
Dennis
years. It could be
Dennis
years. So
Dennis McCurrum in the chat said, um, 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 don't do that. CJ Stroud is dealing with worse and he's looking better.
I don't think
So
that's
that I
true
mean,
either. I don't think that's
I
true though.
don't
I don't think I don't
that
agree
that
with
that
that.
is
Yeah,
that is
that's up for
up
debate.
for debate.
That's up
But
for debate.
I mean I got it's clear and obvious to me, and so I'll be brief. It's clear and obvious that there need to be some things need to be shaken up, in Steeler Nation. Some things I don't care if it's look, me personally, I think it's Mike
That was
Tomlin.
my one.
You
That
know,
was one of my two.
people are saying Matt Canada, offensive coordinator. I think Mike Tomlin. I think it's Mike Tomlin. I think it's time, Mike Tomlin. Not for you to stop coaching, not for you to stop coaching, but I just think it's time for you to stop coaching this team, this organization. Like, go to an organization that is already established, that already has great players. I think I brought up teams like, if he goes to the Chargers, or if he takes over the Cowboys, or if he were to take over a team like, let's say, the Buffalo Bills, right? I feel as though with those rosters, he's one of those guys where he needs the roster. Remember, he had that all-time defense roster with Troy Polamalu and James Harrison. I feel like he's one of those guys that needs the roster in order to, prevail. Like he can do but so much with less. And he doesn't do a good job building rosters neither, and that's evident. You got to keep in mind, he came into that James Harrison, James Ferrier, Troy Polamalu team. He came into that roster. He didn't cultivate that roster. He didn't bring that roster. He didn't bring in that roster. So since that Super Bowl, he hasn't done really good with roster construction, in my opinion, bringing guys in. I don't think that he does that a good enough job at doing that. And I think he has a lot of say, even though there's a GM there, he has a lot of say in what personnel comes into that building. I think he needs to be hands off on those decisions because he's a kind of a guy that likes to, give underdogs opportunities and guys that play hard and no, we need cerebral players, skilled players, physical play. Like we need talented players. Like stop, selling this sort of underdog player type of dream if they're not actually like that. And so I just think he needs to go into a situation that already has a collective of great players. But for this team, it's just looking really, really bad. It's looking bad. Something has to change in Still a Nation because I'm tired of watching this offense that we've been subjected to watching for the last 3-4 years. And I think I got a feeling what direction you're going to go, Gator. So I'm not going to say my second choice. I think I'm gonna allow you to say it. Who should be on the hot seat?
Yes, well, I was coming into today really calling for Sean Payton's head. But the comeback, I'll give him a break because the comeback they pulled off against Chicago, he bought another week for me. So I'm not going to say Sean Payton. I think we predicted the two guys that I think need to go. I think we predicted this a few weeks ago after week 1. We actually had a segment about this on the show. We said Mike Tomlin. Do you remember the other person we said?
Of course, that's why I didn't name him.
Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick needs to go. He's too thick. It's time. He's too thick-headed on the way he wants to run that organization and that offense. His defense will always be good. His defense will always be a top 10 defense, but that's not saying much in today's NFL now. You need to score points. You need to score points in today's NFL. And the offense and the decisions that they make in the offseason surrounding what they do offensively is an embarrassment. I don't know if the GM needs to go. I don't know if it's Bill Belichick making these decisions, but you're telling me you sat through a whole offseason with knowing Mac Jones was going to be your quarterback, didn't try to go get another quarterback to compete with him, signed Juju Smith-Schuster, and they thought that was the answer. And then you go ahead and sign Zeke, who the Cowboys didn't want. Just what they're doing offensively and the decisions that they're making is an embarrassment. I feel so bad for Patriots. Well, no, I don't. They got to win the 6 rings. But it's really crazy to me how they're just letting this draw out. I don't know necessarily if it's Bill Belichick's fault, but changes need to be made because that offense is putrid. I mean, it's putrid.
It's Bill's fault. He runs everything. It's his fault.
It's putrid. Straight up. It's putrid. They score. We're really not going to sit here. The Arizona Cardinals, Joshua Dobbs went crazy on the Dallas Cowboys defense last weekend. And I know the Dallas Cowboys weekend might have had a fluke week, but you cannot score just 3 points in an NFL game in 2023. You're not going to win football games no matter how good your defense is. You need to move the football. You need to get first downs. And Mac Jones and that offense just ain't going to do it. And it doesn't seem like Bill Belichick wants to make those changes to improve his offense. We've seen 2 or 3 years. Have they signed anybody? Have they done anything? It's like they're just drafting players and just hoping for the best. It's like you said, it was a good point. You had it a few podcasts ago. You said they think they're just they think they're, because of the Tom Brady pick, they think that they have an ego when it comes to the draft. They do. They have an ego when it comes to the draft. They think they're going to pick the next Tom Brady. They really do. They think they could pick somebody in the 6th round now, and he's just gonna be that guy. And they need to draft offensive players, or they gotta make splash moves. They have to have a big trade. I gotta see something from that organization. They just sit there and do nothing in the offseason. They do absolutely nothing. They draft these old vets that suck. They really thought Juju could be a wide receiver 1 with his knee issues. Come on, man.
I think we definitely agree. I think we definitely agree that they underestimate the Tom Brady loss in
Yes.
that organization. I think we all agree to that. DL, do you agree with Bill Belichick should be on the hot seat, should be fired, as what Gator said?
They won't do it. They're not going to tarnish his
I was
legacy,
gonna
but he
say, yeah,
should
they're
be.
not gonna
They're
fire
not
him,
going
but
to
I
do
do
it.
agree he's on the.
That's not the question. Do you agree?
I do agree he's on the hot seat. To be fair, I underestimated how much Tom Brady meant to that organization when he left. I honestly thought,
I
I
would
didn't think
agree.
he was
I
gonna be
did as well.
terrible in Tampa, but I didn't see him getting another ring in Tampa.
Mm.
I thought it was equal parts
And
Brady and equal parts
that doesn't
Belichick,
take away
and
from those
now
first 3 rings, but
it doesn't. No, and now I
yeah.
think it's starting to show that Belichick just had the guys, and maybe he's not the talent evaluator he once was, or that he thought he was.
Wow. How about them Cowboys? Are they back in contention conversation after their blitz over the Patriots, DL?
I don't. So here's my thing in terms of like where the media ranks them and where they have them. I don't know that
Where
they were
you
ever
have them.
really
This is
out,
this is
but
you.
where I have them,
Yeah, this is your take.
I feel like I've talked about this before. It's the Cowboys. They got to show me something. Like I
Mm.
count on them to either not make the playoffs or make it and then like lose in the weirdest way possible every year. So I'm just waiting for that to happen.
But
Another
they're
divisional
blowing
round
everybody
exit.
up. Aside from this blunder with the Cardinals that I think was because of the Diggs injury in practice a couple days prior to the game,
The
that they just
backup
had
played
a
very
like
well yesterday.
like I just think they had a lapse that game against the Cardinals because they was like the whole team, the organization was so hurt about that loss. I think so. I'm giving them a pass for that Cardinals. But outside of the Cardinals, they blew
Um,
everybody out. I mean, they've never done this before. Like they've been winning games in the past, but they're just looking dominant now. You don't there's no optimism now because of how they're looking now.
Nah, that I mean, and that's fair. The Diggs injury probably did affect them. I'll see what they do against the 49ers. If they do that to them or they look good against them, then I'll say yeah, they're a contender because I feel like they're two equally matched teams in that respect. Like the
Mhm.
49ers defense isn't the Cowboys defense, but that's also not Christian McCaffrey you're facing every week.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't do that. The Niners
So
defense better. Hey, don't do that.
as a unit, they probably are, but I don't know about individually, and I think
It's
that's kind of what
comparable. It's
pops with the
comparable
Cowboys.
when
Yeah,
Stephon
it's
Diggs,
comparable,
Trayvon Diggs is there, but without Trayvon Diggs, it's not even close.
but the Cowboys' offense isn't like Dak very well could throw 3 picks, and I'm not saying Brock Purdy is capable of throwing 3 picks, but I just feel like the way Shanahan's offense is set up,
I don't
it
even know if that's possible. Yeah, with
it
Shanahan's, I
makes
don't
it
know if that's
easy on him,
possible.
so he doesn't have to like.
Yeah,
And that's
and
what
I
I'm
agree
getting
with
at.
that.
Like
I
as
agree.
high powered as the Cowboys defense is, their offense is not. And because their defense is so good, it hides, I think, how bad their offense is this year. Like it doesn't look great, but Dak also doesn't have to do a lot because the defense is putting up points. They're getting stops. So that's why I say the 49ers are that real test. So if they get past them, and not even if they beat them, if they play them really well, then yeah, I might say they look like they could actually be contenders. But I
Yeah,
just
no,
haven't seen.
I feel where you're coming from with that, and I'm definitely looking for. I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to this matchup with the 49ers because you got the way they're going to try to get after Purdy. This is going to be the first time where I'm actually going to see what Purdy is made of because he's gonna be under duress. It's just going to happen, and so this is the first time I think we're going to get a really good understanding of who Purdy is as a quarterback right now. Not that he can't progress and get better, but just right now who he is. Gator,
I got
which
it. I got you with
um
this. This is
Cowboys.
easy. And this is gonna be a hot take, and there's a bit of bias here. I think the Niners blow the Cowboys out, and hear me out.
Well, let me just wait. No, because
I'm
we're going
getting
to get
to
the
it.
matchup.
I'm getting to it. Listen, I'm getting to it. It's part of the thing. It's part of the so
Okay.
they're not in the they are not in the they're not in contention as of right now. As we speak, I do not have them as the top teams in the NFL. If they do beat San Fran and surprise me this weekend, then definitely, then I was wrong about the Dallas Cowboys. 100% I was wrong. The thing I think we're overestimating their defense. Very, very much so. And I'll tell you why. I believe the teams that they beat, the three teams they beat, might actually be 1, 2, and 3 in the worst offenses in the NFL. They might be 1, 2, and 3. Like if we rank the offenses from first to 32nd, the Giants, the Jets, and the Patriots literally might be 32, 31, and 30. Like that, and that it very might be a possibility. So that's what the deep like if these offense like we saw with Seattle whose front isn't even that good. Like their front four is not very besides Bobby Wagner, who doesn't even rush every play, is not very good, and they got 11 sacks against that Giant O line last night. It was a record. So like any one of these decent defenses are gonna make the Patriots, the Jets, and the Giants look bad. They just are. And the one decent offense that they played against, just the one decent one, like Josh Dobbs, they might still be bottom 10, but Josh Dobbs got that team looking really good. That offense looking actually good. The first good offensive test they had, they got blown away. Their defense looked terrible. The one good offense they played. So I'm expecting the Niners to do the same. I'm expecting the Niners to score more points than Arizona did, and I do not think Dallas can keep up. So I'm expecting a blowout. Write it down, 20-point Niners win. Niners win by 20 plus.
Very interesting take. Bold take. It absolutely is.
Bold, but really think about it. Like, you were talking about the Niners schedule. What offenses has Dallas defense played yet? No one. This is going to be the first test for both teams. We're really going to see how good the Niners are and how good that Dallas defense really is.
I think it's going to be closer than you think. But that's what a bold take is. What to make of these struggling quarterbacks?
Bet that, Dennis.
What to make of these struggling quarterbacks? Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, and Daniel Jones. DL, what to make of these guys, man?
I mean, there was so much hype about Pickett in the preseason. I'm wondering. I mean, we already talked about Mike Tomlin being on the hot seat. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is. Kenny Pickett. He's young enough, I feel, to bounce back. I don't want to say he was overrated. As for Mac Jones and Daniel Jones, I definitely think I think they're just overrated. I think the Giants overachieved last year, and it made Jones look better than he actually is. I mean, he's playing behind a shaky line too, and I'm not saying he's trash, but he's also I don't think he's worth that contract. I don't necessarily think he's starter material. Sometimes I think of him in the same vein as like Taysom Hill. Like he could be a quarterback you bring in that, pick up some rushing yards. He can throw the ball if he needs to, but I just don't see Daniel Jones as that kind of guy. And then, I mean, we talked about Belichick too, so I don't know if it's the play calling, because New England's had some questionable play calling the last couple of years. What was it, last year they were rolling with co-offensive coordinators? So I don't know how much of that I can put on him either. But I guess from a just raw talent perspective, I never really saw Mac Jones as that guy either.
I'm just gonna be plain, right? Because you hit on everything for me. DL, I'm gonna be straight up. None of these guys are franchise quarterbacks. You need to move on from all of them. Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, and Daniel Jones, none of them are franchise quarterbacks. Get them out of those franchises if you want to just
not waste
proceed.
Your time.
Not exactly. Don't waste your time. Move on and start to build to get to the next guy. Because as long as you're just going to keep upsetting these fans, they're going to keep putting bags over their head during games. They're going to be upset as long as these guys are under the snap, and you just gave Daniel Jones all this money. So just I don't know how you finagle your way out of that, but I know the
You
NFL
can't.
contract is set up in a way. Yes, you can. These NFL contracts
They would have
are
to
I
just
don't
release him.
they be doing magical stuff when they don't want a player no more
No,
with
no,
these
facts. What
NFL
I'm saying is though,
contracts.
like, if they
I know
can't
they're gonna
trade
do
him,
that.
they can't trade him.
You know Sean Payton's gonna do that with Russ with the contract, the big contract that he just got. Like they're gonna figure out a way to make it so it's as if that contract never existed. It's just how the
No, they
NFL
would have to
is.
buy it out. They would have to release him. They would
It's
literally have to
a
pay him his money and
situation.
release him.
Gator, what to make of these struggling quarterbacks?
I'll give Daniel Jones some slack. I really don't know if Daniel Jones is a
I'm
good
not.
quarterback or not. I don't think he is, but I'm gonna give him a little slack. I think out of the three, we might be seeing one of the worst offensive lines in NFL history in the New York Giants this year. So, no quarterback is gonna play well unless you're Tom Brady, because Tom Brady's the only one that could like really accurately read defenses and get the ball out of his hands in 0.2 seconds. But eh, I see promise in Daniel Jones sometimes, but he throws some questionable picks. I don't know if he's good or
Mhm.
not because of the offensive line. I can't see him throw the ball enough. I just don't know that offensive line is literally so far this year is one of the worst offensive lines in NFL history. So if that
Okay.
can, so I mean that's the only excuse I'll give him as well. And yeah, not to mention Dennis made a good point. His receiving core is terrible. Outside of Darren Waller, it's terrible. So that's why I'm gonna give. They might have one of the worst receiving cores in the league as well. So bad offensive line. Saquon's hurt. And now I know why. See it, and now I know why they didn't want to pay Saquon his money, because they can't afford it because of the Daniel Jones contract, and they need to buff up the offensive line somehow.
So out of all these guys, you're still holding a hope with Daniel Jones. I'm assuming with the other two,
Yeah,
you
the other two, get him
you're
out of
done, you're
here.
done with the other
Get
two.
him
Okay.
out of here. And I thought
Bills
Kenny
Mafia,
Pickett. I really
stand
thought
up,
Kenny
Bills
Pickett was
Mafia.
gonna be that guy, man.
Same, we agree. Bills Mafia, stand up. Bills Mafia, stand up. DL, has Josh Superman Allen returned to his formidable play? Is he
It
officially back?
it looked like it's Sunday. It looked like it's Sunday. If he can string a couple of those together, I'll say yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. He looked good Sunday.
Yeah.
Him and
Gator,
Diggs were on the same page. I feel like
Oh
it's
no,
been a
yeah,
while since
definitely.
they've
He's
been
the
that
MVP
plugged
favorite
in.
right now. He's the MVP
they
favorite
was
right
on
now.
the same page. They definitely was on the same page. You're right about that.
You heard what I said, King?
Go ahead. It's on you.
He's the MVP favorite right now. No one's
Yeah,
playing as good as as him right now.
that's true.
There's no one
Madden
playing.
cover.
There's
Madden
no one
cover.
playing as good as him after that Week 1 loss. Like even Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes looked funny.
They are
Joe
throwing.
Burrow's
They
not
are
even the.
throwing. They are throwing Christian McCaffrey's name out there.
Yeah, but it's just the
Um,
media. It's just the media. The betting. He's not even in the betting lines right now. So Christian McCaffrey on FanDuel is not even in it, like in the conversation. So that's just the media over
nah,
exaggerating
they.
it.
I don't think.
Do
I
I
think it's
believe
because.
he belongs there? Yes.
I think it's because they don't know what line to put for Christian McCaffrey yet. Like they don't. They're nervous about it because they think like it can actually happen the way these quarterbacks are playing.
Maybe.
So I don't think they want to
Yeah,
actually throw that out there and
maybe.
people jump on top of that and they lose a lot of money.
Maybe Christian
Um,
McCaffrey's definitely up there, but when it comes to Josh Allen, Superman, he's back, and I hope he's finally done with. I hope he's finally taking the route where I don't have to do everything all the time. I don't.
Yeah.
It's okay to throw the ball away with that defense that you got, and you're gonna get the ball back. You're gonna have other opportunities. Not everything needs to be a home run. Take what the defense gives you, continue to play how you're playing, and we could really be seeing one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. That's how much fun. Like when I look forward to watching the Bills games every week, just because of Josh Allen. Just because of Josh Allen. He is the most fun quarterback.
Is Mahomes, but
No, yes, of course.
I tried to tell y'all that like Chiefs is getting a little too cocky with thinking they could just put any and everything around Mahomes.
They are 3-1. They are 3-1.
I'm just saying I tried, but it's a struggling 3-1, and I truly believe that the AFC right now is looking like the Bills to lose. My AFC pick to come out the AFC, but I truly believe it's looking like the Bills to lose right now. They looking like the strongest team in the AFC right now. Buffalo beat down the Dolphins. DL, what happened?
Dolphins played somebody other than the Broncos.
Oh man.
Nah, I mean,
First good defense that they played.
I don't know. They played a solid
Who was their
defense.
first two, who were their
It's a
first two
divisional
matchups?
game.
They played the Chargers, who defense is putrid, and I don't know who they beat the second week. Oh, the Viking. No, who'd they beat on that Thursday night game? Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah, I think it was the first real test, and they were probably still riding high off that Broncos game, and kind of just came out, got punched in the mouth.
Okay, so
I
nothing
think.
too much to it other than like, because do you see Dolphins as a bad team now, or like?
Oh no, not at all. I think they're going to be right there in the playoffs. They're going to be right there in the hunt. I don't think they're as a good of a team as the Bills when the Bills are firing on all cylinders. I think the difference is quarterback.
Gator?
Yeah, and the Dolphins moved the ball well. They scored in their first two possessions. It was 14-14 after the first quarter. So it's not like they couldn't score, but they couldn't go toe to toe with the Bills offense. The Bills offense was firing on all cylinders last night, and they played a defense that could slow them down enough. So that I think that's what it was. And actually, that's what I predicted. That's what I predicted last week. I said I thought the Dolphins were going to score a little more, but I said this is the first time that the Dolphins are going to play a team like this that can actually outscore them. So I based it off the defenses. My prediction based off the defenses, and I thought just because Buffalo has a little bit better of a defense and they're at home, that they would slow the Dolphins down enough. I was surprised at how much they slowed them down after those first. It looked like that game was going to be 45-45 after the first quarter. No teams punted in their first four possessions, and Buffalo figured something out. They figured something out. The defense figured something out. Tua turned the ball over a few times. I don't think that's going to be the norm for the Miami Dolphins. I think maybe they were just chasing. They got away from handing the ball off to Raheem Mostert and Cheney and doing, because they do have a lethal ground game as well. That outside zone is no joke. The outside zone that they run, that coach, they don't run anything else. You know what they're gonna run. You know if they run the football, it's gonna be an outside zone, and these defenses really can't stop it. So I think they got away from what they do well, setting up the play action and stuff like that, and getting Tyreek Hill involved. So I'm not gonna over exaggerate. Like I think Miami could probably beat them in Miami. I think they probably split this year. But Buffalo is a very tough place to play too. It's one of the toughest places to play in the National Football League too. That Bills Mafia gets loud. They get crazy. So I would say besides like the Seahawks Stadium, and Arrowhead, that's probably one of the hardest places to play in the National Football League as well. So that was just a tough road game for them. I expected that though. I didn't expect the score to be that lopsided, but when you're chasing when you're chasing the Bills, it could get like that. Just because you're chasing them, you're gonna turn the ball over.
True, and I agree with you. I don't see Dolphins as a bad team because it's absolutely not. It's still very formidable, but I just think the Buffalo Bills are that good. New York Jets outlook. All right, now let me ask you this, DL. Did Zach Wilson's performance leave you a little bit optimistic about what he can possibly be? Does he continue to make strides? I know it's one game out of all of the tape we got on him, but he did look good. Are you optimistic that he could be the guy for this franchise?
Nah, I mean I feel like we've seen the glimpses before, and he hasn't been able to do it consistently. So nah, like if you're asking is he as bad as everyone thought, maybe not. But if you're asking is he the guy going forward, no. The Jets gotta hope
We
that
should have put
Aaron
this guy's
Rodgers.
name in the category before with Mac Jones, Daniel Jones. We should have had him in that category so we can move on from this subject. Get him out of there. Get him out of there.
Yeah, I would rank him. I would take any of those 3 guys before I would take Zach Wilson.
Ooh, I don't know about all that. I
Wow.
don't know about all that. I don't know about all that.
Wow.
Wow, that was kind of crazy. That was kind of
No,
crazy. That was kind
you
of
gotta
crazy.
clip
I'm
that.
not taking Mac
What?
Jones. I'm not taking Mac Jones or Pickett over him.
Why not try it?
You could try it, but I just Zach Wilson's the talent level with Zach Wilson is there. The Jets want him to run an offense he is not comfortable running. It is
I
what
mean,
it is.
that puts him in the same situation as Justin Fields.
I have to. Whoa!
I mean,
I
Justin Fields
believe
is in
in
an offense
Justin.
that. No, I do too, but
No,
he's in an
he's saying the
Oh,
offense
same
that
thing
he's
that
not
I'm saying
comfortable
though.
running.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
He's
he's
saying
yeah.
the same thing I'm saying.
Look, I know we got like a lot of huge sample size on Zach. I just want to push back just a tiny bit. Like just if just and I want to know what you say to DL. I want to know what you say because it's just a tiny pushback. Like I truly believe that under Aaron Rodgers, like he's showing signs of not turning the ball over, even though he had a big turnover to close that game out, albeit, but just taking what the defense gives him, short throws, check down throws, looking, just leaving it, putting the game in the defense's hands instead of turning over. Like he's truly learning how to not be the erratic thrower of the football that he was his first 2 seasons, as far as throwing it down the field to just any and everybody, throwing it up in the air again, picked off for a crate. Like he's, I think, actually maturing and growing, especially under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, to me, was supposed to, because he has everything. I mean, the arm is a beautiful arm. It really, really is.
He's got a
Aaron
cannon.
Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers was gonna start 2 seasons at minimum in New York, and Zach was going to sit there and really be cultivated by this dude. And I believe in that process under Aaron Rodgers for Zach Wilson's. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to flat out go out there and say that Aaron Rodgers says he plans on coming back, says he's going to do everything he could to come back. And if Zach Wilson's get right back behind Aaron Rodgers, I still believe in Zach Wilson. I'm going to be on record and go out there and say that. And we'll see what formalizes from that. Obviously, we'll have to wait. He's not going to be good this year, that great this year, but I believe he'll show signs, and then next year is going to be A-Rod, and then the year after that, we probably get Zach. And so it's going to take time for what I'm saying, what I'm predicting to actually formalize, but I think it's truly, truly possible that this kid is a really good player.
And that's fair, but I don't think he's shown them enough that if their season continues to progress like it is, and they end up with a top 3, top 5 pick, that they won't spend it on a quarterback. Like I don't think he's shown them enough to be like, okay,
I heard that. No, I agree.
we'll let Rodgers continue to teach you, and we know you'll be ready. I just don't think he's shown them enough to
So you don't believe that
roll
the
the
Jets?
dice on that.
No, I feel you on that. So you don't believe that the Jets can make a push like this season, like a playoff push based on what we seen against the defending champions last night
I think their
or
defense
Sunday night? Excuse
is
me.
good enough if their offense can just keep them in games, but anything is possible. I just don't see it happening. Like
Okay.
I don't see him consistently making those good decisions, like you're saying, taking what the defense gives you, taking the check downs. Like his odds are just gonna get big, and at some point, he's gonna go for that. He's gonna try and get it all back in one play.
Yeah.
Like it happens. So
Gator, can you see
if
it? Can you
if
see it?
those are the type games they're in where they need him to be perfect in those last moments, I don't think it's gonna happen.
And I feel you on that. I feel you on the Robert, his last name Shula, said that if he plays like that, they'll win a lot of football games. Gator, are you optimistic that they can make a playoff push this year?
Who said that? I don't see that for some reason.
I said Robert Sula said that. Oh, you said as far as the topic?
Oh, Robert Sala. I thought
Robert
you,
Sula,
yeah.
Robert Sala. This is
I
what I
thought you were
said.
talking about somebody in the chat. You said Robert Sula.
Robert Sula or Robert Sala said that
I thought
if
you were
Zach
talking
can
about.
be
I'm looking in the chat like Robert Sula. Who's that?
Robert Sala said,
No, I don't believe they can win football games.
wow. Okay.
Should I go? That's kind of part of the next.
That is that, and that's what I already. That's why I had him
Yeah.
open that up. You didn't, if you
Okay.
didn't move
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No. The Jets are putrid without it. Without it, I don't believe this offense is sustainable. Um.
And it truly, truly is sad, right? Because it's
Yeah, because their defense is
showing
really
that
good.
it's showing that if they had A-Rod, they would be really good.
Like Super Bowl caliber type good. Like they might own the AFC at like right now. The Chiefs were up 17-0 on that team. Like I know
Okay.
they came back. I know they came back, but the Chiefs laid down. They knew they had that game the whole time, even when it was 20-20. They knew they was winning that game. They weren't scared. So
Okay.
I'm not thinking too much of it. He had a good game. Eventually, he's gonna have a good. Eventually, every bad quarterback has a good game. Everybody, every offense, they're still NFL players at the end of the day. They're eventually, and I wouldn't say he played good. I wouldn't say he played good. He struggled in the first quarter. He had a good second and third, and then threw the game away like he always does. So they have a chance to go down and tie the game, and he fumbles the snap. Zach Wilson will be Zach Wilson. I didn't see anything like special.
Okay.
He was taking with the defense. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything to make me believe he's gonna flip the script.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
all.
LeBron gave him a shout out, told him keep his head up. So I think LeBron believes in him just a little bit, like I do. Just it's a glimmer. It's a glimmer. Bengals continue to struggle. Should they bench Burrow? DL.
If it's, I mean, the guy can't move. I think they should just to get him back healthy. They might
I
have to
agree.
call this season a wash and think about the future. They
At what
just lost
point? At what
Higgins
point
for a
should
little
they
bit.
actually? At what point should they actually? Because we know that he's going to play next game. At what point should they actually call this season a wash and sit him? Like, how bad does it have to get?
1-5.
What are they? Yeah, I would say somewhere around there. I don't when is their I don't know when their bye week falls, but
Yeah.
I might try and use that to kind of stretch it out, put them on the pup, give them
Bye week is
that
week
buys them 5 weeks.
7. It's week 7. Yeah. So they play Arizona and Seattle.
If they lose
And see,
these
that's
next
the
two
thing. You
games,
want to say Arizona's winnable, right? Like it
Yeah,
should be,
should be.
but we've seen them play teams pretty tough. So that's probably your test.
I
If
would
they
have said
can't beat
Tennessee. I
Arizona,
would have said
then
Tennessee was a win too.
yeah, it probably should have been. So, and I don't even know if it's about resting him, trying to make it through, and then see what you can do on the back half of this season. I think it's more so about just making sure you don't screw his career. Like he's ready to go for next year. Like there's no point in him getting any more injured, or you're losing other players because you're not up to the full strength. Like 'cause now he doesn't have Higgins, so it's gonna be even worse.
They're saying he might play through it, but dude, look,
I
the
agree.
Bengals. The Bengals are just
I
letting all their
totally
players play injured. It's crazy.
And that's the thing. Like if you're Higgins, what's the point?
Yeah,
This
paycheck.
early in the season, like you might as well rest it too. Like
That paycheck.
I mean, I know ribs
His
are
contract is coming
guys
up.
come back from that. But
His contract's coming up, so he probably wants to pad up the numbers.
That's true.
yeah,
I
that's true.
looking at the schedule, I really would bench him and just hope you can scrap a win or two against Seattle. Really let him get healthy. He would have 3. I think they could win that game, that Arizona game, without Joe Burrow. So I I think
Mm.
you rest him against Arizona and you rest him against Seattle as well, and just hope you go 1-1. If you could go 2-4 going into the bye week and then make a run the second half of the season, you can make the wild card with this 7-man playoff. The only thing is, after the bye week, back to back, they play the Niners and Buffalo back to back after the bye week.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Yeah, you don't want to injured Burrow facing either one of those defenses.
So it might be quiet, and that's my Super Bowl team, right? It might just be chops. I might just hope. I gotta hope the Niners get the Niners win the NFC to make my prediction just somewhat reasonable here. But he can't move. He can't move, man, and I don't think people realize. Like, forget Joe Burrow. Just stepping up into the pocket as a quarterback, even if you're not the fastest guy. Uh, Tom Brady proved that mobility in the pocket is just everything. Like it's everything in this league, and he can't even do that. Like he's sitting back there, not taking any steps, throwing the ball right when they snap it, they're trying to throw the ball, and that's not their offense. That's not their offense. They don't run their offense like that. They like to take big shots with you, and you need time. And their offensive line is not playing good as well. So it's really rough out there. I could see why they're struggling, and it's really not Joe Burrow. It's one, he's not getting time. He can't move, and his receivers don't have the time to get open. The reporters asked Jamar Chase, and he said, "I'm always open," as a joke, because that's what receivers have to say. A reporter asked Jamar Chase yesterday, has it been like, are you able to get these routes completed? Like, is like it because Joe Burrow is getting sacked so quickly? Like, does it feel different than other years? He said, "I'm always open, so it don't matter," as a joke, but I think that really is a factor. Like these stars that normally get the separation, get the space, just can't right now. Like we're not seeing the Jamar Chase because they love to run go routes and deep outs with Jamar Chase, and these plays are ending in 0.2 seconds because um the pass rush is too much for the Bengals line, and Joe Burrow can't move out of it. He can't scramble to the left or the right, can't move up in the pocket. He's literally just sitting there waiting to get sacked, and it's sad to watch.
Yeah, I tried to tell people that Joe Burrow's legs were underrated. I think he's
It's
just
not
this.
even
They
just
think
Joe Burrow though.
I'm
That's what I
just
was
saying.
trying to
They think.
say.
I'm just saying though. I'm just saying though. They think. I'm just saying if he had his mobility, they would be a lot better right now. And I always tried to. Oh, this great pocket quarterback. No, he's great at extending plays as well.
Yeah.
DL, will the Chargers keep on charging? DL.
Gator already mentioned it. Their defense is putrid.
But
I think their offense is always going to have a
They're
minute.
getting better. They're getting better and better.
Khalil
They're getting
Mack
better.
just had 6 sacks.
They are
I
getting
I
better.
think they're
Khalil Mack had 6 sacks in one game. That was crazy. That's
so I think they're trending in the right direction. Their offense is always going to keep them in it. Um, as long as they stay healthy, they probably have one of the worst health records of any offense.
Yeah,
Like I just
yeah.
feel like every year Mike Williams is
And
going to go down at some point. We just have to wait on it, and it's already happened.
they won
Keenan
two
Allen
games
goes
without
down at
Austin
some
Eckler.
point.
They won
They
2 games
have
without
won two
Austin
games
Eckler.
without Austin Eckler. I think that's going to be their biggest issue, though, is health.
Well, they're going into the bye week. I think this week. I don't think they play this week. So
no.
Yeah, they're on bye this week.
Austin Eckler should be back the following week. So at least they get a piece back because their run game has been putrid. Their run game has been. They need Austin Eckler back like ASAP because Justin Herbert is playing out of this world this year. If they get their run game back, listen. I see the Chargers being a playoff team in my opinion. I say they go 10-7, 9-8, and squeeze in. But that's all I see from them. I don't know. You see anything else, King? Do you think they make the playoffs?
No, like again, I'm gonna reiterate. If Khalil Mack is back awoken and he's out here getting 6 sacks in one football game, like
The Raiders are the
that's
backup quarterback. The guy's
that's
holding the ball
ridiculous.
too long.
Okay, all
He's
right,
holding the
all
ball
right.
a little too long. No,
You
that's
got
crazy.
Asante.
That's crazy. Let's not take away. There's still Those are still NFL offensive linemen that he did that to. So let's not take it away. But maybe a
And then, like
rookie
you said,
quarterback holding the
Justin
ball a little too long.
Justin Herbert is playing at an
He
extremely high
is.
level
He's
right
playing
now.
very good this year.
And then I still believe in Keenan Allen. I still believe in the rookie wide receiver that they drafted, that he's going to come along. I still believe in Josh Palmer. I still believe in his tight ends. And then we got Austin Eckler coming back. Like, I think this team definitely is going to keep on charging. We got more rookie quarterback magic from C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson this past Sunday. DL, what are you seeing from these dudes, man? Are these dudes the real deal? Are they the franchise quarterback for these teams for the long term? What are you seeing? Are they like that?
Given what they're working with, I think both of them, from what I've seen, both of them look like they could be the answer for both of those teams. They're just going to have to continue to build around them. I think someone mentioned it earlier. They said CJ Stroud had less than Bryce Young. I don't know if I would agree with that. Like Nico Collins is pretty dirty.
Yes.
Tank
Tank
Dell.
Dell is
But
pretty dirty.
I think Dale is pretty dirty.
They
Um,
got Damian Pierce, who's a
they got
formidable running
Damian
back.
Pierce in the backfield. And then on the other side, like I said, I think Anthony Richardson
Don't they
just
have
has a lane to
Brandon
protect
Cooks?
himself.
Not Brandon Cooks. Don't they have Robert Woods as well?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got
they have
Woods.
Robert
Okay.
Woods as well. So I mean, it's not like it's a bad receiver room. Um, but CJ Stroud is looking like he's legit. And then Anthony
Yeah.
Richardson, I
And
like what I see. I'd rather him again being a Panthers fan. I watched it happen to Cam. Like it was cool watching those runs, watching
but
him
you
run
would you
people
would
over.
you would take Cam back in his prime in a heartbeat right now. So
Oh,
always
immediately. But what I'm saying is I don't want to see Anthony Richardson go the same path of just like he's already had one concussion. I don't want to see him
go
get beat
back.
up. So I do think they may have to kind of try and get him to change his style somewhat. You know, it's okay to slide at times. It's okay to run out of bounds. Like you already got the first. Um, I know what we were talking about with the Jets and with Wilson. It's like take what the defense gives you. Like we know you can run the linebacker over, but you don't have to do it every play.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but I think they both could be the answers for those franchises if they continue to build around them.
I, I'm gonna go out there on a limb and just say they're the answer. I mean, we got one quote out of Houston's camp that said we drafted the right guy, and then we got quotes coming out of the camp of the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson is special. So I'm gonna go out there and just stamp it. I'm gonna be totally honest. I love Bryce Young, but that's still a question mark. CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson, to me, have the stamp of approval for franchise quarterbacks, man. Anthony Richardson is something to behold. And CJ Stroud is looking like he already has a beat mentally on these defenses. It's actually insane. Gator.
I love CJ Stroud and what I'm seeing. Anthony Richardson, the only concern I have is his health, obviously. I think CJ Stroud's the better of the two. If we compare, if you want to compare, but um, finally we have an Ohio State quarterback that is legit. I love it. I love to see it.
Don't come for Justice Fields. Justice Fields.
Nah, and all of
Go
them,
ahead. Go ahead.
all of them before this, not
Stop.
just
Go
Justin
ahead.
Fields, not just Justin
Continue.
Fields. No, what I'm seeing from CJ Stroud on a team that started 0-2, you think like they started 0-2, you're thinking, oh, this about to be a bad season for the Houston Texans. Two bad losses, and then they come back and win two tough games, and they beat two good teams. Two division wins. They're 2-0 in the division. That's why I'm saying to you, watch out. They really could make a run for that division this year. Like they're 2-0. They got tiebreakers up the gazoo right now. So, um, I like CJ Stroud. I really like Anthony Richardson. I'm surprised at how good Anthony Richardson is throwing the football. I thought he'd be a lot more inaccurate his first season. And he's only gonna get better, right? So he gotta learn to slide. It's the NFL. You can't run through these big linebackers like you could in college. Chill out. Chill your ass out. You ain't gonna run over these boys. So slide, man. Like let's get the slide game going. Somebody need to teach him how to slide, so he could stay healthy and be in these football games because you know they 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 got a little something over there. When Jonathan Taylor needs to figure this out with ownership, man. They got a good football team. I don't get it. Like they got a good football team, a good promising future. I would definitely want to play for the Indianapolis Colts right now. So I really hope he stays. That offense would be so much fun to watch. It doesn't look like it's gonna be like that, but I think they're both real. I think both quarterbacks are real.
So Gator
But I
gives
like CJ
both
Stroud a
these
little more.
quarterbacks Gator gives both these quarterbacks a franchise stamp of approval. I said, and this just goes to show that the Florida Gators did a disservice to Anthony Richardson in whatever offensive system that they were running last year because he is
Yeah,
looking absolutely. I know
I
you're a
wouldn't.
Gators
No,
fan,
I
Gator,
wouldn't
but
agree with
I'm
that. I
going out
wouldn't
there.
agree
I'm
with
going
that.
out there and saying that because I'm going out there and saying that because I've witnessed it also with Trevor Lawrence and Clemson, where Trevor Lawrence from his from his freshman year in Clemson. He did not improve from that freshman year all throughout his sophomore and junior year. Like these colleges, they don't develop, they don't help with the progression as much as like the head coach for the USC Trojans. He does a great job with the process, with the development of quarterbacks, so that they transition well into the NFL. When you take guys like Kyler Murray,
I
Hurts,
cannot wait to see Caleb
right?
Williams play in the NFL.
So
I
it's just,
cannot wait till that day comes.
and we'll definitely talk about that. But it's just,
I
I
know.
just don't think that Florida did any justice at all in the progression of Anthony Richardson, and so it's just good. It's just fine. It's refreshing to see him giving a NFL playbook, a actual playbook that is like real and has substance to
The
it.
Gators
And
haven't
what
been good in a long time,
um
so
and so let's transition. Thursday night football, Commanders versus Bears preview. I know this is kind of like it has storylines to it, so I'm gonna be watching it for sure. But DL, give me keys for the Commanders. Give me keys for the Bears for this game. What are the keys for the Commanders in this game should be, and what should the keys be for the Bears in this game?
I think
and who
really,
you
and
got and who you got too.
And who you got?
okay. I think it's been the key for everybody that's played Chicago. He's played better. His numbers have looked better the last two games, but it's kind of you really just cover DJ Moore. Um, it seems like they don't have much outside of that. Cole Kmet had a good game this past week, but I think if the Commanders can kind of keep DJ Moore in check, honestly, with Justin Fields, it's almost like you try and keep him in the pocket, make him a bit more uncomfortable. He wants to use his legs. And for Chicago, it seems like putting pressure on Howell, but I think that offense is. I think that offense is better equipped for Howell than Chicago's offense is for Justin Fields. So at the end of the day, and I think Washington has a better defense. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna say Commanders. Commanders
Gator?
take it, and Chicago
Yeah, I like the
continues their march for the
Commanders.
#1 pick.
Caleb Williams to
Number
the
one and
Bears.
two. Number one and two pick.
Caleb Williams to the Bears does have a nice ring to it, though. I can't lie. I
The city of
cannot lie.
Chicago. The city of Chicago definitely needs it.
Would be they would eat that up in Chicago. Gator.
I like the Commanders. I actually think the Commanders are a really good football team. They almost beat the Philly this weekend. So I personally think Terry McLaurin was in on that catch. I don't know if you saw that. I saw some green. I don't know what they were seeing, but I think Terry McLaurin caught that football. But
Run the highlight on the live stream. We don't
yeah,
know what
for real.
catch you talking about.
The biggest call in the game in overtime, a 50-yard completion taken away. You missed that? How'd you miss it?
I missed that. I did.
On third down, Sam Howell threw a 50-yard dot in overtime, and Terry McLaurin's toe was out. Like, by this much, they were going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly.
I'm definitely going to look at that.
I thought he was in personally. I thought I saw some green on the highlights, but I think they have a really good football team. Defensively, they're a little weird, so I could see this game being a little high scoring. But I think the Commanders' defense will be enough to slow down their offense, the Bears' offense. The Commanders' offense is going to score at will this weekend. Sam Howell is actually impressing me. You really missed that? That's crazy. And you missed them tie it up with 1 second left?
Yeah, I missed the overtime.
Yeah, go watch the highlights of that game. Right after the show. It's the best game of the weekend.
I will. Go ahead, finish.
But yeah, I'll finish real quick. I think they cover the spread here. The line is 7. I think the Commanders cover the spread, even though it's in Chicago. I actually like the Commanders. I think they're an average football team. I don't think they're like this putrid team that everyone thought they were gonna be. I think if they would have won that game against Philly, they really would have had a shot because of Philly's schedule at winning the division. I know that sounds crazy, but if they were both 3-1, if they would have somehow won that game, I would have made that take today. But I think they're a good football team, so I like their offense. I like the receivers they got. They got two good. Brian Robinson's having a really good start to the year. And yeah, I don't know. I actually like the Commanders more than most people. I think they could beat like at least 60% of the league.
And I personally think the Bears are tanking low key. I'm just gonna throw that out there now that I'm putting Justin Fields in great positions to make great plays. I think they're tanking low key for
Justin
Caleb, and
Fields to the Jets.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Caleb is that deal. So I'm taking Commanders in this one. I'm excited. DL, bring a new, refreshing insight to this once in a month UBD, once in a month under Big Dog, LeBron and MJ debate. Bring new, refreshing insight to the table on who you got, because I'm sure that stance is never going to change. So say who your person is in those two matchups and bring some new bring a new debate, a refreshing debate. Try to sway the opposite towards your thinking on who you choose of these two.
And so I still have LeBron as the GOAT.
Of
I think
course you
he
do,
has
but
been now for
we,
a bit. But I
we
know we
still,
talked about it earlier, and you said you know he's chasing those ghosts, and I agree. When I was saying he doesn't have anything left to prove, I think he still has personal goals. I was getting that I don't think he has anything else to prove
in
to be
general.
the GOAT. Because if I mean, he gets to 6, they're still gonna talk about the ones he lost. So it doesn't matter. My argument, and I might have said this on the show before. I feel like this is always my argument in this debate, and it's not like I'm a Jordan hater because I love Jordan as well. Um, the reason I always put LeBron over him, because really the only argument is Jordan went 6 for 6. We don't talk about the times he didn't make the finals, but I say you line both of them up at 18 and you let them go. And Jordan does not stack up to LeBron. Like Jordan could not enter the league at 18 and do what LeBron did at 18.
Of course.
Jordan didn't play as long as LeBron, and I'm not saying it's because he couldn't. I don't think he would have played at that level at that age. Doing what LeBron did, Jordan didn't face the number of Hall of Famers that LeBron did. Um, so that's my argument is purely like, well, you line them up at 18 in either era and just let them go, and I think LeBron's gonna come out on top every time, 10 times out of 10.
Mm. So the new refreshing insight you brought to the table this time was, and correct me if I'm wrong, longevity. Entering the league as an 18-year-old from day it took Jordan into the league till he was 21. Then you said as far as how many Hall of Famers LeBron played versus Jordan had to face in his era. This is the main key points to your argument, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. The refreshing take that I have, the new take, because to be honest, the reason why we do this once a month, one, is because especially when this show starts to gain traction, it's going to be so much different insight, so many different takes, points of views of whys. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But also because I have so many argumentative points for LeBron that it has to be spread out like over the course of, multiple takes. So, last month I brought to the table that LeBron, out of the 10 finals he's been to, in those 7 of those 10 finals were against dynasty teams, 4 against Golden State, 3 against the San Antonio Spurs. The panel agreed that those 2 teams were dynasties, and Jordan has never faced a dynasty in the finals in his career. They say, oh, well, it's because, he was the dynasty. Well, my pushback to that was the Spurs were in the West. Golden State were in the West. So he had to see them in the finals every year. Jordan didn't play in the West. So had he had a dynasty in the West that was coming out of the West every single year, he would have ran into turbulence. He would have ran into shaky water. So Like, for example, and I threw out the example of the Lakers, Showtime Lakers, when Magic Johnson been in 9 NBA finals. Had Magic Johnson and Jordan played in the same era, you can't tell me if Jordan had to see Magic in those Showtime Lakers with Kareem, Big Game James Worthy, with all of these guys, uh, uh, Michael Cooper, and the list goes, Brian Scott, right? So you can't tell me if he would have had to see these guys 4, 5 times in a row in the finals, or just in general 5 times, that he would have came out on top of the Showtime Lakers all 5 times. You just can't tell me that. And this is the type of stuff LeBron was dealing with. So that was the argument point that I brought up last week. This week, the point, the argument, the case that I'm bringing to the table this week is that Jordan came up in an era, and this is most cases, where when you got a roster, and this is what Gator loves. He loves when teams draft great players and they build up the roster.
I do love
They
that.
build up the roster, and then they progress year after year after year. They progress together. They lose together. They go through trials and tribulations together until finally.
I love it. I love a good story.
Until
I love a
finally
good Cinderella
they
story.
get over the hump, which DL brought it up.
Denver's my team. Denver's my team.
Denver's a perfect example of that. But DL brought it up. Jordan lost multiple years, didn't reach the finals multiple years, and we don't talk about that. We just talk about the 6 for 6, but multiple years where he didn't make the finals because he was going through trials and tribulations with his team, with his guys, with the same roster, the same core players.
Yeah, let me ask you that. Can I ask you a quick question or no?
You just cutting me off when I'm bringing it.
I know, but it's literally about that. Do you think that could be the reason why Jordan maybe didn't get to more finals? If he went to, the team, maybe he would have played in more.
This is my point. Until finally they got over the hump. And then when they got over the hump, they went on their run. Now, this is the point with that I'm saying with LeBron. He don't need time. And this is my argument against you, Gator. Jordan had Scottie for years. He had a great core for years, and they couldn't get over the hump. LeBron goes to your team, you're in the finals that year. Like, you're in the finals that year. It's no waiting. As soon as he got to D Wade and Bosh.
That's not true.
Soon as he got to D Wade and Bosh, they were in the finals.
That's
first.
Not true.
Yeah, you gotta let me drive my point home, Gay. This is my argument. You can say whatever the heck you want to say. All right. He got to the finals. He got to the finals first year with Miami. That is a fact. He got to the finals first year with Miami when he joined Miami.
He did.
Right? When he, and they went to 4 straight finals. You didn't need to, we gotta lose together. We gotta, like, new roster, new pieces, new players. The whole roster was brand new. They just had, it was literally, the roster was only Chris Bosh, LeBron, D Wade, and it was, I forget the big man's name at the time. And they had like 4 players on the roster. They had to pick everybody else up, and they was in the finals. What happens? He leaves Miami, goes back to Cleveland. What happened? Oh, to no surprise, new roster. Never played with Kyrie Irving a day in his life. Never played with Kevin Love a day in his life. Never played with those role players that were there at the time a day in his life. They're back in the finals. No need to, we gotta lose together. Trials and tribulation, all of this turbulence.
Okay.
We're in the finals, year 1, 4 in a row with the Cavs. And then what happens? He goes to the Lakers. Injury plagues him his first year. But what does he do his second year? They're in the finals. They win the finals with Anthony Davis. This is what what do we, the first year he got AD, they're in the finals and they win it. So when you think about Jordan, first year, same head coach, Phil Jackson, who obviously proved to be one of the great coaches of all time, had Phil Jackson, had the triangle offense, had the same core players his whole run. LeBron won a finals for 3 different head coaches. For 3 different head coaches, for 3 different organizations, for 3 different complete rosters. We got to understand the book bag that is LeBron James, to the point where we need to understand that if you give him, a decent, formidable roster, it's no need for a great all-time, all-world head coach. No need for a great all-time, all-world offensive system. I just need good players. We don't need to. There's not going to be no lag or turbulence. We'll be formidable right away in the finals, and that is what LeBron James is. 3 head coaches in which never won a finals without LeBron since LeBron left. Eric Spoelstra ain't win. Head coach for the Clippers ain't win, Tyronn Lue, and head coach for the that used to be the Indiana Pacers head coach, was Lakers head coach. He didn't win nothing since. So that's the point I'm driving home. This LeBron MJ debate. To that DL, you say what?
He'd probably agree
And
with you.
all valid points.
Okay.
All valid points.
Christian, got anything, Gator?
No, I just disagree with you on the fact that if he would have went wherever LeBron goes, it's NBA Finals worthy. I don't think he joins all good teams. So I'm not going to sit here and say that. Like I've never seen him join a team besides the Cavalier team. The original Cavalier team that he was on was the worst team that he's played with, and he still got to finals. So there may be some truth to that, but you're really acting like he could join the
No. I'm acting
You're
like
saying he could join the Wizards tomorrow and they'd be in the NBA Finals.
I'm gonna school you a little bit
He's
about
always
basketball.
joined good teams. He's always
I'm gonna
joined good
school you. I'm
teams.
gonna school you a little bit about basketball. I'm talking about in general, the having to get accustomed to your new teammates. That is a real thing in sports, and just sports in general, but basketball, especially when 5 players emphasize the game so much. You gotta there's growing pains to go through. So no matter, I'm saying that's the distinct difference between a
I
LeBron.
understand that.
There's a distinct difference between a LeBron and an MJ in that sense, that MJ can't just go to any really any good team and they're in the
We
final.
don't know
Like
that. It's never happened. We
I
don't know
mean,
that. We don't know that.
The only proof
That's an assumption.
the only proof that I have to go off of is he had a championship roster the 3 years in a row that they lost in the playoffs, that they didn't get over the hump. They finally did, but they were already a really good basketball team, and they couldn't make it to the finals. That was the whole argument if you was listening, what I was driving home.
I listen. I heard that, but my take would be like, let's say Jordan.
I'm sorry. Basically, what I'm saying is LeBron would have been to the finals with that roster versus how long it took Jordan to go to the finals with that roster.
Okay.
It's basically what I was driving home.
But LeBron, his first couple years didn't win a chip either, and he decided to leave. I'm saying, what if after those 3 years, Jordan was like, "This ain't gonna work out." I'm glad he stayed and it worked out for him. Let's say he left and joined a better team like LeBron did, like LeBron's career started. You don't think Jordan
on that better team?
You don't think
he was already on a championship team?
Obviously not. If they had to pull pieces together and get better. And they obviously. So you're telling me it was the same roster? They didn't bring anybody on to get better?
They brought tools in. I'm talking about core. The core was there. Scotty. And the names go on and on. It's passing me by right now. I need old school guys to help me out, but those core names are passing. Is going out. Out my head. But the core was there. You know what I mean? That's what I'm arguing, basically. You know what I'm saying?
But let's play devil's advocate here and say that Jordan, after those 3 years left and wanted to join a better basketball team, kind of like LeBron did. You don't think that Jordan would have won?
It don't get much better than the team that Jordan had. So I don't understand. Like, if LeBron
there was definitely teams that were a Michael Jordan away from.
I'm just saying, Jordan don't get the pass that LeBron gets for leaving Cleveland because Jordan actually had what Braun desired, like to have. Like he had that. and he wasn't getting over the hump. And the second LeBron got that type of formidable roster, the same instance he was in the finals. Didn't take time.
Okay, well that's
He was
fair.
there.
Then what we could do is I could compare that to LeBron losing finals. Then I could say those 3 years are equivalent to LeBron losing to the Mavericks or LeBron losing to the Spurs. So like then I'm kind of canceling that stuff out. Like at that point.
And I will say the Mavericks are probably like LeBron's only bad loss in the finals, and that's why I said Jordan didn't face the level of Hall of Famers that LeBron has faced.
Yeah, agreed.
Like everyone's like, oh, Jordan didn't let anybody else get a ring in his era, and it's like, who was there to do it? Like he had no hell in LeBron's draft class. He had D Wade, Melo, Bosh. Then KD comes along. Then Steph catches fire out of nowhere. You got Westbrook. You got Kawhi Leonard. Like you had a Spurs dynasty that added Kawhi Leonard to it.
I don't know much about old school basketball, so I wish I had old school here to ask this, but I'm sure there were Hall of Famers that Jordan played against.
Oh, there's Hall of Famers, no doubt, but there's not as
comparison.
many. Like so back then,
he
I
just said
feel
Russell
like it was.
Westbrook. He just said Russell. Like I'm only thinking of the only roster that I'm really like concerned about is the Steph KD roster. San Antonio was very good as well, but they were at the end. It wasn't like San Antonio was in their prime. It was towards the end of. They were really good. But what I'm saying is they were better at a certain point in their careers. That was not prime San Antonio. That was towards the end of the Tony Parker.
They were, but that's what I'm saying.
They were in their prime when they were beating the Lakers. When they were beating the Lakers in finals, that's their prime.
No.
I wouldn't say they were in their prime.
But stats will prove to you that they were a better statistically.
The only reason that LeBron beat them was because of Chris Bosh and Ray Allen.
Well, that's basketball. You say you can't just exclude the game now all of a sudden because you just feel like
you would probably say in most of Jordan's finals, Jordan won those finals. LeBron did not win that Spurs finals. LeBron did not win that Spurs finals.
Steve Kerr hit a game winner in one of Jordan's finals, and then Paxton hit a game winner.
Not in an elimination game.
I'm just saying they hit game winners for he got game winners hit for him. Like
Chris
let's understand
Bosh recovered LeBron James's miss.
All I'm saying is,
but no one talks about what LeBron did leading up to that miss. Was Ray Allen's shot doesn't even matter if LeBron doesn't go scorched earth to get them there. But
he went on the scoring tear, absolutely.
But with the Spurs, they
Jordan
still had
would never
their
ever
big
do what
three,
he
and then
did.
they added a young Kawhi Leonard to it.
And I'll throw up Dennis's point. I love Dennis's. This is one of my favorite points that Dennis makes. Jordan would have never did in that Maverick series what LeBron did in the fourth quarter of that series. It would not have happened. It would not have happened.
I agree with that. But and again, he didn't have a finals to that point, so that was his not getting over the hump moment. But it's like all I'm saying is, like DL said, the Spurs still have the core three, and stats will prove that the Spurs had numbers wise were a more dominant team than they were when, like you said, when they were in their prime beating the Lakers. Like numbers wise, those later Spurs teams were absolutely destroying teams, like blowing them out, putting up insane points, like numbers and production. Like the production was higher, yes, because the game got faster, things like that, but they adjusted and they were still the most formidable offense in the entire NBA. To you, what you said was not their prime. It was absolutely still their prime because they had the big three still. And then
I will give LeBron one thing.
Then they added Kawhi Leonard to that team who won the Finals MVP that season. So it's like they were like that was insane what they had.
I'll give LeBron one thing. He has won finals, and this is probably not what. This is the only slight edge I'll give LeBron. LeBron has won finals that he should have lost. They were not the favorites, and they should have lost. LeBron, I'd probably guess Jordan was probably the favorite in all his finals.
I was gonna make that case another.
That's
the
day. Only because they probably shouldn't have beat the Spurs at all. They should have probably lost both series to the Spurs. He managed to win one, and then they definitely shouldn't have beat Golden State the year they had Cade.
Everybody's mad at everything. I love what you said, Gaten, and we'll close it here. Everybody's mad at LeBron James for making the decisions to go to another team, yet don't understand or realize in 8 out of his 10 finals, he was the underdog. In 8 out of his 10 finals, Vegas had him as the underdog. In all 6 of Jordan's finals, in
that's the
all
only
6 of Jordan's
excuse I'll give
finals,
him.
he was the favorite. So, like, we really misunderstand the book bag that LeBron James was.
That's
DL, you want to
100%
go?
truth.
You want to? Yeah,
I was gonna say I do have one more side, like the
please.
other side of the argument of like Jordan wasn't hopping teams. That wasn't the climate of the NBA at the time. No one ever
Yeah, it
thinks
didn't do
about, well,
that.
what if
Yeah,
what if
you're
all
right.
these other guys, what if these other guys clicked up against Jordan? If that was what you could do, like
Right.
KD joined a 73-9 team,
Right.
and
That was bad.
LeBron still took them to the brink. Like,
Yeah,
can
that
you
was bad.
imagine if Charles Barkley just went and joined the Jazz?
Well, he didn't bring them to the brink, but
They won 2 games.
He won
The
2
first,
games.
no,
It
didn't
would
they
have been
win
3
four?
if
Didn't
J.R.
they lose
Smith wasn't an
4-1?
idiot.
Didn't they lose
no, the
4-1?
first time they played them, they won. They lost.
It
They
was
lost.
4-2,
4-1,
I think.
4-0, I
Oh,
thought.
it was 4-1. It was 4-1 the first time they played.
So you
And then
give
the second
J.R.
time,
Smith one.
yeah, J.R. Smith.
Yeah,
Yes,
Hey,
yeah,
that
J.R.
that's
doesn't
Smith's
that does
not an
not mean
idiot.
they hit the winning shot. That
that's
doesn't
what
mean
that's
they hit the shot.
okay. DL, close us out on this topic. DL, what was you saying?
That's what he's. I think that's
No,
what he's
that
getting
was
to.
Okay.
that's just what I was
The no
getting at.
super teams back
Like
then, like
Jordan didn't
people
have to
are.
face the super
Didn't have
teams.
to go
So
through that. Didn't have to go. We established like 7 out of 10 LeBron's finals he played against uh 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 um what do
Normally,
you
I would
call it?
say King, let's close up the show, but we need to do this topic because
No, we gotta do this.
it
I
was
know
our
it was
best video ever. So
7 out of 10 finals LeBron when it was against dynasties. And so last topic. Thanks for everybody that sticked around. And of course, we're gonna get we supposed to end 6 minutes ago, but that is all right. DL, if you want to stay for this, we would absolutely love that. We really
we'll just
actually
have him
want
go
you to.
first. We'll just have him go first.
Absolutely, let you go first, and then we can let you get out of here if you choose. And thank you for everybody that tuned in. Our last topic is your top 5 NFL teams. Before we get into that again, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. Have a blessed night. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your loved ones. It's a special time. It's the holidays. We're gonna get all of these clips and get them posted. So all of this stuff is going to be on our social medias. Look out for that. It's going to be amazing. The show is still growing and it's ever growing, and it's going to be amazing. We got top 5 NFL teams.
People
DL.
love this topic last time. 1,000 plays on IG.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, very true. Thank you for reminding me of that, Gator. Who are your top 5 NFL teams right now?
And don't give a detail, just kind of list them, and then we'll ask you a question about the list. So just list your 5, and then we'll talk about it.
Exactly. Do we
gotcha.
have a graphic up for this, Gator?
Yes, we do.
Okay, we got a graphic up for this
I'm gonna
deal.
go.
So
Okay, I'm gonna go 49ers, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. I really want to show the Lions love, but I'm gonna go Cowboys for that last spot.
The boys.
now you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going. You know, DL. You know where I'm going with this, DL.
Why? Wait. Why the
Cowboys
Eagles?
in your top 5, and you just pooped on them? You gotta explain
At the
that.
moment,
Poop
I
on
mean,
them?
as of
He
week
just
4, that's
said-
where they are.
He
And
just said they're not.
like
They're
I said,
not
they're
top
gonna
3. They're not
He said
top
you gotta
3.
they're gonna
tell me something.
they're gonna implode somewhere around week 15. But as it stands right now, week 4, I got them there.
Wow, you
After
just
week
put
4, that's
okay.
I got them.
Okay. So you're more so with the Dallas Cowboys. You're more so later in the their late season woes is what concerns you about them.
Yeah, it just seems like something always like they'll end up falling apart. And I don't know if it's that teams like learn them throughout the season, and
feel
then
that.
they're more prepared for them on the back end, or they're just tired. I don't know what it is. It seems like it's always something internal or the referees, but something always screws them in the end.
I feel that. Gator, you want to go? Or do you want me to...
Just one
Oh,
question
yeah,
for
you got a
him, and then why Chiefs over? I mean, why Eagles over Chiefs? Explain like between those two teams. What makes you say the Eagles are better than the Chiefs right now?
It's really just the record. I know the Chiefs were missing Kelsey for that loss, but I think we talked about it earlier that the Chiefs, I think, kind of had that ego. If we can just roll anything out there with Mahomes and we'll get it done. I think this is the year where it's really starting to show.
Okay.
So yeah, that was it.
And I totally agree with that point, DL. Um, and so we got the full video of these top fives going to be on YouTube. We got the shorts on YouTube coming out. We got the shorts on the social media pages coming out. My top five, really quickly, is going to be, and please, panel, ask me any questions regarding it if you have any. My number one team in the NFL right now is the Buffalo Bills. I have the San Francisco 49ers sitting at number 2. I have the Philadelphia Eagles sitting at number 3. I have the Cowboys sitting at number 4. And I have the Chiefs sitting at number 5. All right. And so
Two questions. You had the Niners at one last week, and they won in a pretty convincing fashion this week. What made you put the Bills over them this week?
because a lot of us had there were some people out there that had Miami as the number 1 team in the league last week, and then I believe you and a couple of us had Miami as the number 2 best team in the NFL last week, while I left them out of my top 5. And so for where everybody's eyes were geared with this Miami team, I feel as though the way Buffalo handled such a team that everybody started to just fall in love with, the way they handled them, and since their first week loss to the Jets, the way they've looked, I just feel as though they looked a little bit, it's by a hair, obviously, just a little bit more formidable than the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I like the rest of the list, to be honest. I would put the Chiefs a little higher, but this is your list.
The Chiefs just make me.
I think the list is fair.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying the Chiefs makes me like it's just
nervous.
It's just too cocky, man. Too cocky with Mahomes. I love Mahomes. He's all world. He might go down as the best ever, but give him stop just taking all of his assets away in this offense. This is insane at this point.
Okay. I'll start mine. I got the Niners. I said whoever won that Bills-Dolphins matchup would go to 2, so I have the Bills at 2. Chiefs at 3. Eagles at 4. And we will put the Cowboys at 5. Cowboys are back in my top 5. They were not last week. I had the Dolphins move out because of how bad they lost. I think they're 6. They're still there. And Miami moves up. I think the Chiefs are still better than the Eagles. The Eagles are winning some close games. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose to the Rams this weekend in LA. They're playing with fire. They're playing with fire. The Eagles.
I love how the Eagles keep finding a way.
Yeah, they know how to win. They know how to win.
I like that they understand that aspect.
But because of that, because they're playing with that fire, I have the Chiefs better than them as of right now. So that's my list: Niners, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, Cowboys.
Dia, you have any questions for Gator, or are you good?
Oh man, I like it. I'll roll with it.
Yeah, I'll just say just wanted to ask you, like the way that the Chiefs been looking in these first 4 weeks, quarter of the season, little under a quarter of the season, because now it's 17 games. They have been struggling in terms of nothing's easy. Nothing looks easy for this team.
Yeah.
Do you have them there out of respect, or do you have them there because of what your eyes have shown you of this team this year? Which one?
I think we're over exaggerating their performances recently. I think they just kind of took their foot off the gas in the Jets game. I think when they thought they are getting a little cocky, I'll give you that, because when they were up 17-0, they just kind of took their foot off the gas. Patrick Mahomes was making weird throws, because some of the interceptions he threw on Thursday were not Patrick Mahomes. He's not going to do that every week. You know, he was throwing it right to these guys, throwing lob passes that he doesn't normally make, and looking at himself like, oh, I gotta lob it up higher next time. Like, it was kind of, so I wasn't really worried about how they looked on Monday night. I think there are a few drops. I think they were a few drops away from 4-0. So I mean, I'm not until they get beat bad, until some team kind of pushes them around and beats them bad. I'm not too worried about the Chiefs.
Okay, and that's a great. I like how you close that. That's a great point. And that was another beautiful show. That was a jam-packed show. I'm super excited about that one and the content that's going to come out with that one. DL, we definitely getting your content, at least 2 clips from what you said today. Thank you, DL, for your basketball and football expertise. This is a place where you actually you get to. I say when we always say, if you love sports, make talking about it a part of your routine, and because it's therapeutic. It really really is. And so time is valuable, and I really think we should spend it doing things that are truly truly therapeutic. And this is definitely what we love, sports. And so thank you, DL, for sharing your insights on football and basketball. We needed it, like great content. And so please pull up on the next show on Friday if you can. Of course, I know you got a beautiful family, but thank you for coming today, DL. And that goes for anybody out there. You can join the show. This is your show. We built it for you. It's going to pop. So it's going to get to a point where it ain't going to be space. We're going to just be drawing from the hat, and anybody that fits in gets in. So take advantage of it now. Thank you, everybody that was watching and that was commenting in the YouTube chats. DL, you want to close and say anything, brother?
No, man. Just thank you guys for having me, man. I appreciate it. Like you said, this is therapeutic. We all love to talk sports, so this is just the perfect platform to do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, DL. Gator, good job today, buddy. Everybody, have a good night. Under Big Dogs is out. Another beautiful sports show. Another beautiful Under Big Dogs.
See y'all Friday.
See y'all on Friday. Deuces.